Hello and welcome to the Video Game Dads podcast. This is episode 60. Yeah, nice round number. Welcome to the podcast where three guys in a basement talk gaming, fatherhood, and everything in between. We are your hosts. I am Ben.
And I'm Adam.
And I'm Michael.
Yeah, so thanks for joining us. Just a quick reminder, we are family friendly, which means no cussing, but no promises that we don't have a little bit of adult content here and there. So no real big need for earmuffs, and there might be a little innuendo.
Yeah, and if they're old enough to know that, then they're old enough to know.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, so thank you. Sorry it's been a little while. We always try to make this every other week podcast, but, you know, things happen, right? Longtime listeners know we went from 2 total kids, 3 kids maybe at the start of this thing, to now we have... we can make Swiss Family Robinson.
We have an army.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're horribly outnumbered.
Yeah, Lord of the Flies, right? Yeah. But we're, yeah, so...
Don't attack Kansas.
Yeah, don't you dare.
That's true.
Don't you dare.
Hey, you know, speaking of having a lot of kids,
Yeah.
so I actually went to the movies for the first time in a while the other day.
Okay.
Oh.
And
what'd you see?
We saw A Quiet Place too.
Okay.
And I don't know if
Okay.
you guys have seen the first one or not.
I did not. I know exactly.
I mean, the premise of the movie, and I'm
I
not
saw
giving
it.
away too much, but, you know, it's
No, I know all about it.
it's
I
a
heard
family
really
that
good.
speaks sign language, and there's these things that'll kill you, basically, if you make too much noise,
Yeah.
kind of thing. And they have, like, children, and I... Like multiple times, I look at my wife and I'm like, we would have died right there. We would have died right there. Like we wouldn't have made it. Like these people are alive like 500 days after, you know, this starts or something like that, and we would not have made it the first 5 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
I
That's
wouldn't have
children.
fared well either. Yeah.
Yeah, and to me, it's funny because you wait and wait to be in a movie theater experience, and then there's no sound. And, you know, you're paying for the Dolby Digital. I don't know. My brain just kind of thinks it's funny because you're paying for kind of half of the movie, right?
Kind of.
I don't know.
There's
Just
a,
something
I
to
mean,
think
it's
about.
it's a jump scare kind of movie, you know. In
Sure.
some ways.
I liked the
mean,
first one a lot. I
yeah,
really did.
I really did too. It was one of my favorite movies of, I don't know, whatever, 2 years.
2017
Yeah,
or whatever.
2 or 3 years ago when it came out.
Yeah. Good stuff. Real quick, where can you email us, Adam?
Videogamedads@yahoo.com.
And you can Facebook us at facebook.com/videogamedads. And yeah, feel free to email us any questions, things like that, for segments to talk about. So sorry to interject that real quick. Adam, back to your story about the theater. Tell us more about it. Popcorn, was it allowed?
No, I'm on. The other thing I've been doing in the week since we last recorded is I've been slowly destroying myself with diet and exercise, and I'm becoming a former shell of my once gravitationally gifted self.
What's your form of poison as far as working out?
Well, I've been doing. Well, I mentioned this on the last pod. The
Peloton.
The Peloton.
You've been okay. Rocking
And the
Peloton?
annoying thing about the Peloton is all these people are like in super good shape, you know, who are like
Right.
the instructors. And it's these little 90-pound women who are the worst.
Right.
They just kill you
Yeah,
because
they're good, man.
they're good. They're better than you are.
Yep.
And they're like easily better than you are.
They would stay alive in the quiet place.
Correct.
I
They
feel
would,
like you should be able to like choose different groups that are like at different levels, so you can pick like a real like terrible one, so you like look like you're
honestly,
doing really
the
well.
thing
Compared to them.
about working out,
just as like a
people are
little
always like,
boost.
I love working out. It makes me feel so good. I hate it. I hate every minute of it.
Yeah.
Now, it does make me feel better between the workouts, but the actual working out part is no fun at all. And the thing, on the Peloton thing, I think Echelon and all the other Elons are the same way. But
yeah.
on Peloton, it'll show you like where somebody lives, and then like male in their 30s, male in their 40s, male in their 50s. If anybody over 50 years old beats me at anything, it makes me mad.
Well, that's
Yeah.
good. It's
No offense to the
motivation.
over 50 crowd, but
Right.
but even the 40 plus people, it kind of makes me mad. If I lose to anybody older than me, it makes me mad.
Yeah,
Oh, that's good.
Do you have like a favorite trainer guy or girl?
Not really. There's some I like more than others.
Sure.
I like the people who kind of yell at you or a little bit mean to you, but I don't like the people who tell you about like, oh, this is find your happy center and we're doing this to make you a better person, and all that kind of stuff. Like, I just want to not die in the next 10 years.
Right. Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
I don't need the other kinds of pep talk, but
Sure.
I mean, to each their own. But
I can't wait till you start to teach one of these classes, because then
There will never be a situation where I teach a
there's
fitness
going to be a
class.
segment for you where you're just like, hey, welcome. Remember me? I'm the one that says like, hey, If you don't want to die, listen to what I say.
Exactly. If you want to be around to raise your kids, get on the bike.
The Peloton people, the executives are like, well, he's not traditional to our core standards, but he has an audience. Hey, it's like us, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. No, but everybody on there is way too happy. You know, they're like, oh, we're gonna get on this, and we're gonna sweat, and it's gonna be great, and it's like, no, it's not. It's gonna suck. But I've been doing it. I do it pretty religiously. Like, I do 30 minutes to an hour every morning, and then sometimes when I come home in the evenings, I work out a little bit, doing like weights or whatever. But
cool.
But that's pretty much life right now. It's consequently eating into my gaming time, which is a little bit annoying. I got to figure out a way to game and bike at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, I hear that. Well, let's run down what we're going to go through with the show real quick. E3 happened, right?
It did, kind of.
Yeah. Yep. So, of course, our video game book club and our handheld holla will be some of the things that we talk about here. A lot of E3. So everything from the Bethesda to the Microsoft to the Nintendo to a little limited run had a nice little release of games, things like that. We'll run over in television, everything under the sun. We'll kind of try to recap a little bit of it. Remember, guys, we're not a new show. You know what we are and you know what we aren't. But we're going to run through some things that kind of stood out to us. And it's nice to see E3. Maybe next year it'll be back to its traditional self.
And we can go. And
then we could go. Yeah, exactly. Because we tried to do it last year, and we know how that went.
Yeah, we're personally responsible for everything that happened because we had planned to go to E3.
I know, right? That's how it goes. Everybody's... plans change, but I'm excited for 2022. That's for sure. And cons, things like that. We had another little game swap. I could talk a little bit about that. I was able to do that, and maybe some cons coming up later this year, which are still going to happen. Game Con, right? You guys last time you were all like, "Hey, it's not going to happen." Well, maybe it might.
It's looking like it might happen.
Yeah, it might happen. A little junior version, but we'll take it. We'll definitely take it. So, but we'll see. We'll talk about that and many things more on the podcast. Michael, everything going swell with you? How are the kids? How's everything?
Yeah, everyone's doing good.
Good.
My oldest just turned 5, so
hey,
it's getting a little more brazen.
Yeah. Yep. I hear you on that. Yeah. Sebastian's
talking back a little bit.
Yep. Yeah. Dealing with that too. That's
they do that.
Yeah, they do. They sure do. But exerting independence, I guess.
Yeah. He's getting defiant. He's saying no a lot. Trying to do stuff. That whole thing.
Yeah.
You got to figure out what they like and then take it away.
Yeah, it was nice when they would just agree to do everything. They were excited to throw away trash when you told them to, and just do everything because they felt accomplished. Now he's starting to realize he has options.
Dang it. Yeah. I know, right?
Yeah, my 3-year-old daughter, she's in that stage where she still looks for approval. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
Like, she wants to, if she changes her shirt, she wants you to tell you, she wants to hear like, oh, that's pretty, or oh, look what I can do, kinds of things. And my 7-year-old gives no craps.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
The days of him caring what we think about anything are, as a matter of fact, we disapprove. It's now cool.
There you go.
Yeah, that's life.
Yep. Yeah, the gift that keeps on giving, right? Kids, huh?
Kids, yeah.
They tire you out, and then some dads get together late in the evening and try to put a podcast together.
That's correct.
And try to be coherent and remember what the heck we all talked about. Hey. We're in this fight with you, everybody. We love it when you send us email with advice, but you can give it to us, too. You hear us talking about our kids. What do you do with your defiant kids besides giving in sometimes when you're worn out? That's what we're doing. But no, laying groundwork and all that stuff, naps. And
I know. Sometimes my wife will be like, you told them they can't do that, and now you're letting them do that. And I'm like, they won. Their will is stronger than mine. I'm sorry. It's just how it happens.
Give in sometimes when you have enough energy. Otherwise, pick the battle for another day. So, guys, I think it's time for the Video Game Book Club.
What I do now is I take a real brisk walk each morning. Doctors are figuring out it's better for you than jogging. And I'll tell you something else they're just figuring out. Oatmeal is even better for you than you thought. High in fiber, high in protein, low in calories, and no cholesterol whatsoever. You see the sign? Word's getting out. The sign wasn't there yesterday, but it's there now, and there'll be more of them tomorrow. Quaker Oatmeal. It's the right thing to do.
All right, the Video Game Book Club brought you by our sponsor, Quaker Oats.
Yeah, with Wilford Brimley.
With
everyone's
Wilford Brimley,
favorite.
yeah.
I get the feeling Wilford's just making crap up.
I think he is. I mean,
I don't know. I think walking is better than jogging.
Did
I
you
mean,
know about-
It is. It's better for your joints. Yeah.
Yeah,
for
technically,
sure.
I think the joints, and then they went with it like any medical study. They told that out. It's better for you. Yeah, because
Yeah.
you don't get injured. I don't think it has much to do with the... But he was talking about that sign. Of course, that sign in the window, if you all didn't know that commercial by heart, that sign in the window was saying, now serving Quaker Oats.
Yeah,
At
cafe.
a restaurant, yeah.
Yeah, and if you like keto, you can duck off. Yeah. So yeah, Quaker Oats, really good for you. Thank you, Wilford. Wilford Brimley is in Cocoon is now 2 years older than the guy from 16 Candles. Help me out. The guy that smiles, Ant-Man.
Oh, God. Yeah, I know who you're talking about, but I can't remember. Paul Rudd?
Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul Rudd is 2 years older, right, than Wilford Brimley was in Cocoon. That's
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
God, that makes you feel so crappy.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
weird. It's weird. But anyway, Quaker Oats, lowers your cholesterol. And it's not low calorie. It's kind of calorie dense. Again, the whole commercial will... Wait, this is our sponsor. Never mind. Eat Quaker Oats every day.
Yeah, eat Quaker Oats. They're
Yeah.
great.
Gosh, we're not good at this.
Yeah,
no
it
wonder
cures
no
everything.
wonder the sponsors leave after every week, and then we have to have another one.
Yeah, we're gonna need another season assist.
Yeah, but they're so insistent.
See, yeah.
They're so insistent. They're like, go with the 1980s, research on it.
Exactly. Nothing says fresh and new like oatmeal.
Yeah, oatmeal, and finish it off with a nice dessert.
Yeah,
with a
some
McRib.
juice. Yeah.
McRib.
Yeah, McRib with the side of oatmeal.
And then a fruit, and another, third course, fruit by the foot. Ugh. All right, so our video game book club is a segment where every week we talk about a game that the listeners pick and also the dads pick out. Now, the dads are going kind of chronologically in system order, more or less, but if you submit a book club pick via email, all you have to do is give a little spiel, talk about it. It needs to not be in the top 15% or so, give or take, of the popular library. So none of the Zeldas and Marios and Halos and things like that. Something a little off the radar pick. We'll talk about it on the next episode, much like a book club. That's where we got that thing coined. The video game book club thing's popping up on more things. Have you noticed that
I have
over the years?
noticed that, yeah.
Yeah,
I like to think we're the originators. Maybe we're not. I don't
maybe
know.
we're not. It's right, it's a common segment. But, going on, 5 years ago or whatever it's been 5 years.
They definitely stole from us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
we'll just say
Speaking
that.
of cease and desist.
Yeah, you're going to hear from our lawyers. Strongly worded letter.
Yes.
Yeah, written in crayon. Yeah, we don't-
Exactly.
We're gonna be so
We're gonna-
rich.
yeah.
Book
We're gonna
clubs
be
did not exist
so
before
rich.
us.
Yeah, we find our lawyers on Fiverr.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wait till
Pay people per hour.
yeah,
right?
wait till Alfred Brimley LLC gets a hold of you.
Yeah, with all of our advertising money.
Yep.
You're screwed.
All right, so our video game book club picks this time were Ball Blazer for the PS1. That was our listener pick. It's been in there like good 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then Puppeteer for the PS3. We 2 episodes in a row, we pick a game that was about $20, and then
Yeah.
by the time we talk about it, it's like $100. This
Yeah.
game's like an $80, $60, $70, $80
Yeah,
game
it's
now.
like $70, $80.
We don't.
so-
I didn't mean to do that. That's just the way it happened, and the market came. But the spike just spiked after. You can go back and look at price charting. We weren't mean. It was literally right
Yeah,
after
it was
we picked
$25 until like March.
Let's
and
be
now
honest.
it's
What
like
happened? That we
75.
had so many viewers know that it was going to be a part of the book club, so they all went out and bought
That's
it.
right.
That's
Yep.
what
It's
happened.
called market power, baby.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Something though I realized it took till episode 60, unless we said this before, but we'll read the back of the box before we talk about the game. Would you guys like to do Ball Blazer or Puppeteer?
I don't care. Let's do Puppeteer first, since you have Ball Blazer,
Ball blazer
in your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's-
we'll make them switch. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do Puppeteer. That's fine. So again, back of the box. Back in the days of renting your video games from your grocery store, you would peruse the aisles, pick up a game, flip it over, as long as it had a game case behind it, and you would glance at it. So let's check out Puppeteer for the PS3. Step into the realm of fantasy when a boy named Kutaro is magically transformed into a wooden puppet. He must obtain a pair of magical scissors, find his head, and make his way back home. That's it.
Yeah, it's very simple back of the box.
Yeah,
There you go.
it's very succinct. I like the missions.
straightforward.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
basically have a mission statement here on the back for Puppeteer. I talked about it last time, how I feel like it is the best 3D enabled game ever for
It's
the PlayStation
awesome.
3.
Yeah.
And I still stand behind that. I played this back in the day, playing it again. This is a Sony Computer Entertainment joint, first party, right?
Yeah. Sony Japan is the
Sorry,
is the
you
developer.
You
yeah.
go with it. What year did it come out? Tell us a little.
So
about
it came out in 2013 in basically all territories in September 2013, and like Benjamin was saying, this is PS3 kind of went through this brief phase whenever 3D televisions were kind of all the rage, where they released several games, God of War.
A couple hundred titles, honestly. A lot is
there's
3D
quite
enabled.
a few, but there's quite a few 3D enabled games. The ones I personally played in 3D were a couple of the God of War games. I played this game in 3D a lot, and the thing that makes this game so cool in 3D is Puppeteer. The best thing I can sort of liken it to is the Media Molecule games, like Little Big Planet and that sort of thing. It's got kind of the same motif. It's got similar feel to it.
It's a Pixar kind of feel.
It kind of,
almost,
yeah, but
like,
it's all magical. But
A Coraline, if you guys ever saw
Yeah,
that. You're
yeah,
basically
it-
talking 2.5D platformer.
it's almost like a Tim Burton type thing, if
Sure.
that makes sense. So it's
Frank
kid.
Frankenweenie.
Yeah, it's like kid, but it's sort of the dark motif, kind of gothic sort of humor stuff. But the whole game is played as a play on a stage, and so you have a stage border cut out around the screen, and then the game is recessed inside of that. And if you're playing it in 3D, the effect is really cool because it's like you're sitting in front of a shadow box and watching playing a real puppet show.
Yeah, like a diorama. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
and it's really, really neat. And I actually personally, I like Little Big Planet a lot personally, but I actually like this game better than Little Big Planet, primarily because I feel like this game is less floaty, has better controls, and is in some ways more succinct of a game.
Yeah.
Than Little Big Planet is, but it's just a really well crafted game, and there's a narrator that kind of tells the story, and then you sort of act the story out. If that makes sense, it's a cool game, and you can play it with your kids too. So
Yeah, and I think what makes it better is a more traditional game because you have essentially a power-up system, unlike Little Big Planet. A Little Big Planet, it's very customizable, but this one, so you pick up different heads, and those heads give you different powers depending on what you're doing. If you have a lion head or a banana peel or a banana head, different animals. There's one where you're like a wolf or a panda, and then if there's a panda mother in the back, you can kind of set up like special triggers, kind of like keys, where you can go through the whole game and miss dozens on dozens of like extra little hints and collectibles because you're not wearing the correct head in the correct place. And so that's your life system as well. So that's how it's a little more traditional, because you basically can pick up 3 heads, which means you could get hit 3, technically 4 times. You could get hit once when you don't have a head, right? And that is what causes you to lose that power up. And then you can select them and kind of swap them out. And the 3 heads that you pick up can go up, they're kind of shown in your upper left corner. That's your life bar. That's your life meter. Those are your power up system. But the scissors themselves, I think, are so much fun. Here's what my son is 4 years old, and he loves, certain little, like playing with the sand stuff, playing with Play-Doh. But sometimes he just wants to cut paper. And I let him,
my
with the
kid loves
special
that.
scissors, not like the big adult scissors, but whatever the scissors he uses in his daycare.
Sure.
And he just likes to cut paper, like sometimes small pieces, big pieces, fold it a little bit, and then like glue the paper on a thing, and it's like a Jackson Pollock painting or something. Like
Sure.
just, abstract whatever stuff. He just likes to do it. And I remember that. Once I cut, when I was a little boy, I was not even that little. I was probably like 6.
like last week.
Yeah. I cut my mom's like she was like a blouse thing. I don't know. She wore a thing where it's just this big black thing. I remember just kind of cutting some holes in it, and then a large yell like 4 days later. She was not happy about that.
Ooh.
But it's funny. I remember being a kid and cutting it and knowing like, this probably isn't a good idea. But I was also like, I'm not destroying the whole thing. I'm just putting a couple holes in it, right? That was my.
You're adding decoration.
Sure.
I don't know. It's just funny how what goes. It makes me at least empathetic to my son. It's just like cause and effect and stuff. We got to remember, like, it's infuriating, but also like it's not like malicious.
Yeah, when I was a kid, my brother, my parents bought him these really nice, like, huge dinosaur molds that were like 2 or 3 feet tall, like 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah.
We came home and he had sawed them in half, essentially, with scissors. And we asked him why, because he wanted to check if there were bones inside.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those classic things. I think I was like 6 or whatever, and he was like 4, but it was kind of one of those. I mean, makes sense.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
Have you seen these toys that they sell kids now where you buy them and they're like a little square, cube, or round thing of like compact sand?
Oh, you dig? Yes.
And then
Digging.
they have like a little pickaxe or something, and you dig through it and you find.
You put them in water to make it softer. Pro tip.
Yeah, you can, or but you're supposed to like excavate little dinosaur bones or whatever out of it. So my wife, to keep my kid busy, to teach him, she bought him like a package of these things. I don't know, there's like 6 of them or something on Amazon. And they're I don't know, maybe 4 inches across or something, and they're basically like the consistency of sidewalk chalk, and you're supposed to dig through them and everything. So I was trying to get some work done or something, and so I'm like, hey, why don't you play with this thing, and then I'll come outside and we'll play again later. And so he goes out on the front porch, and with his little thing, and then I hear this whack whack on the ground. And he's out there just chunking it in, chucking it into the gravel and into the thing. I'm like, what are you doing? You're supposed to, like, the whole point of it is you dig through it and everything else. And he's like, this is much faster.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, you just break through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah. So, anyways, kids.
Yep. No. Those things are cool, but some of them, they're smart. They make it, if you don't do it gently, it breaks the thing.
No, that's what
inside.
he did. That's what I was telling him, is you're going to break it.
Yeah,
and he broke it in half.
Some of the things, like at the dollar store they have, they're just like little gummy, like little toys that you can't. So it kind of depends. But yes, put them in water. It saves a lot of time. Because even me, I'm trying to dig in it. I'm like, I'm going to cut my nail off. Some of them they're really hard, or maybe I'm just weak. That could be it too. I like the puppeteer.
Yeah,
so
you just had to moisten it up a little.
Yeah, moist.
Everyone's favorite word.
Yeah, everybody loves that. I think, especially if you're listening to this podcast in headphones and someone just goes moist. That is the number one. Yeah, apologies. Right,
Half everyone just turned it off.
I know.
Yeah.
Technically, I'm assaulting people right now. Moist is the number one most hated word in the English language, and it's by far. It's like the
my
least,
wife hates it too.
even more than cuss words on some people.
Yeah.
Interesting. And I get it, I guess, but it's very descriptive.
Yeah, I actually think it.
Yeah.
It describes everything perfectly.
Yeah, like what if
I
food?
think I know exactly what everyone's talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
when they're-
Chicken.
Yeah, it's a little moist.
Yeah, or cake. Cake.
Nice and moist.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just got out of a hot car, feeling a little moist.
Yeah. Yeah. I sat in the grass and the dew point was a little low.
Moist.
I'm a little moist.
Yeah, a little moist. So there was around the time I was in college, so my wife and I were I don't know if we were married at the time or but it was close to the time we got married. My wife's mom had a birthday party, and my wife made her like this birthday cake, right? Spent all this time, like made her this nice birthday cake, and for like 30 minutes. My mother-in-law just said on and on about how perfect this cake was and how moist it was. She must have said the word moist 87 times in approximately 30 minutes or so.
Oh, we're getting there ourselves.
And it's the most uncomfortable birthday party I've ever been to. We still talk about it, and every time anybody says that word, I still remember the cringiness of that birthday party.
Oh,
Because it was still the time where I cared what my in-laws thought. So I was like trying not to laugh and just be like, oh yeah, it is really,
yeah. It is wonderful. Yeah. Well, what do you replace with that word? I guess you can't. I don't know.
It's tough.
Damp.
Yeah, it
Oh,
doesn't
that's
work.
not a great word
it
either.
It doesn't work.
Yeah. Damp is, and to me,
That's why I like moist, because it's just straight to the point.
Yeah, because if someone if someone
no matter
said
what the situation.
yeah, if I went and made a cake for somebody, say, oh, this is good. It's like damp.
Yeah.
And to me, I would be way more sideways than someone said moist.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just me. Well, we could really tell if our listeners are loyal if they really hate that word. So moving on.
Yeah. Anyone else like that word? Yeah, comment down below.
I think the key is you don't need to look like Steve Buscemi and then tap your fingers together when you say it. That would didn't play. I could cut that out.
Definitely creepy.
So that's what I was getting. Like,
yeah.
So why do you need this restraining order? Just says moist too much.
Yeah.
It's
so
gotta go away.
I can't weatherman segue.
We got to go back to puppeteer.
Yeah, I can't.
Puppeteer, back to puppeteer.
Yeah. So have you ever? Well, when you put your hands in a puppet for long enough.
Yeah.
Okay. So scaly. What? Yeah. Well, what about when your fingers turn all into like a little
pruny?
Yeah,
little pruny. Yeah.
That happens to me actually really quickly.
Does it?
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know if there's a medical reason why. But
No,
my wife notices that. I can take like a 2-minute shower, and all of a sudden my hands are like
really?
instant pruny. Yeah.
That's interesting. No, that's a medical term. It's actually quite
pruniosis.
Yeah, it's quite serious.
Yeah.
It means
I have better grip when it's
well, yeah, your skin's more lipophilic. Maybe you're like a superhero. Here, I don't know. Let me pour some water.
Like
on your hand.
what's your superpower?
Yeah, no kidding. You can absorb water.
Yeah, I get pruny really fast.
Yeah. The alternate X-Men, the Y-Men.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The XY-Men.
It's like
superpower no one wanted.
Yeah, exactly. Well, honestly, I think this would be the best idea for
Moist Man.
Yeah.
To keep going on the tangent. Like the best idea ever for a spoof movie would be to have the X-Men, because if like people getting like I control the weather, I can shoot like magical cards out of my fingers. I have like adamantium claws. There's got to be an X group where it's like, what's your superpower? I can get pruny on command.
Yeah, I grow hair like 5 times faster.
Yeah,
than
exactly.
Normal, 10 times faster. than normal.
I can manage to make anyone uncomfortable in under 5 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, just whatever it is, but there has to be like that.
I only tell bad jokes.
There's got to be in Professor X's like school. There's got to be a group of just like the nerds.
Yeah.
Who just have like the really crappy powers.
Yeah, I think that's like a
wants.
movie and something they're not tapping into.
Yeah,
And that's the thing, like
Marvel,
Professor X,
work on it.
he only takes the kids that like have the meaningful superpowers. Like he doesn't take the kid who can just like, make anything into pudding.
That's true. They can't accept everyone there, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
Where are the rejects?
We have to have standards. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I can make butterflies come out of nowhere. Still working on my name, but that's what I do.
Do you like unicorns?
People like me. I'm a real hit at the assisted living center. Yeah. So
sorry, tangent over.
Yeah.
Puppeteer.
Yeah. So Puppeteer. It's like Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. That's great. Do you ever know that from SpongeBob?
Oh yeah.
Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy.
I thought you were making a Cabin in the Woods reference.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, Merman.
Merman, yeah.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Great movie if you haven't seen it. Highly recommended.
Not with the kids.
Not with the kids. So Puppeteer, one thing that's great that I love is instead of this guy flying, so his scissors, which are like, I love that they're like, they look they're as big as a sword in like an anime. Like the scissors are taller than the character. Yeah, or even bigger.
Yeah, it's from Japan,
and
dude.
So what you can do is you kind of can use the scissors to cut, and it's very satisfying cutting, right? So why I got into that tangent that took 10 minutes to come back to is my son loves to cut, and that feeling of like cutting things is kind of in this game and gets you from A to B. There's like a line, a striated, what am I trying to say? Line, that indented line.
I know what you're talking about. It's like perforated?
Perforated,
yeah,
sure. A perforated line, or like, it's in the middle of the road that tells you where you can go. And then there's also kind of co-op to this game, which couch co-op, which this is great if you have young kids because you have this kind of secondary character that isn't, that's kind of like complements, kind of like Cappy, or it's similar to like Mario Galaxy where you can like show things in the background and unlock things and maybe make a head pop out. Like if there's a skull in the background that's somewhat glowing, you can even use your it's move enabled, so you can either use the controller or use the move wand to like unlock certain things. It's just local only, and I think this is a great game to play for kids because it's not really scary. It's fun,
not super difficult either.
Yeah, and since it is kind of on that Pixar phase, it's you can say this game is cute, but
it's more like Harry Potter-ish.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a kid's game. It doesn't feel like it's too like what's the Billy Hatcher And the egg, like, you won't, if someone comes in, no one's going to, like, make fun of you, I guess. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, what are you playing? That's a baby's toy.
They really did such a good job, like, with the backgrounds and all the animation and everything that goes on. That really,
I don't know, Japan,
it looks top notch.
Sony Japan Studios, I everything they've made has been pretty awesome. I mean, they made everything from Shadow of Colossus to Patapon to, just all that stuff.
Yeah.
What's the other one I'm trying to think of? Loco Roco is a Japan Studios game.
Yep.
And like if it's like some weird, wacky kind of like just off the beaten path kind of game on PlayStation and it came from their personal studios, it's usually Sony Japan, and they just everything's completely different. It's all weird, but it's all good.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Tokyo Jungle. What the other nice thing is, I think this game, even though it's hard to find, you have to play it on a PS3, and it's PS3 exclusive, right? So, I feel like this is so ripe to get remade.
Yes.
I feel it's going to be in one of those double packs, like how Bayonetta and, I'm drawing a blank, the slidey guy, the cool, Vanquish. Where you're just going to, all of a sudden, this thing's going to get released for like $40 with another tie-in game, maybe like Little Big Planet 1 and 2.
Yeah, like an HD remaster kind of.
Yeah, definitely.
Thing.
Yeah, I could see it happening. I mean, there's no way it would come to the Switch, but it would do a killing on Nintendo. People would love it. This is like the Android and Apple thing where it's like later they'll be like, oh my God, look at this cool game. And we're like, yeah, we had it like 10, 12 years ago. It's cool, but I don't know. That's a pipe dream. That's never going to happen. But you never know.
Microsoft seems to be gaining in popularity as far as the price.
And like Microsoft didn't. If 5 years ago, if you tell me Microsoft and Nintendo are so best buddies now, with a lot of the stuff, it's really weird. Who knows? Crazier things can happen. Oh, the music is great too. The music is very whimsical, well orchestrated. I think the big aesthetic to this game is the aesthetic. I think the look of it is unlike anything else. Gameplay, it's still it is a little floaty. It's fine. It's platformer A to B, but I love how they use dimension. And it still makes sense, like you're watching this on a stage and there's moving parts. You feel like, yes, you're going from left to right, but they made a point to make it seem like you're still watching a stage show. It's just so cool, so cool. Anything else you guys want to add?
I don't think so. I mean, I think that pretty much encompasses it. Like I said, this is probably a top 10 PS3 game for me personally. And partially just because this was one of the first games I ever played with my kids. Back when I first played it.
Yeah, and I'd say my thing is I think if you haven't played this before, I would recommend playing through it. And I'm such a completionist, like you guys. Like when I know that, oh shoot, I didn't get the right head for the situation, I lost it. I want to like restart the level. Or die on purpose. So I think the best thing to do is just play through the game naturally and then go back and look at a walkthrough and see which heads you need in certain parts to then unlock the other stuff. Because it's kind of like a new game plus, but it'll allow you to be able to feel it. Because that was the thing. I stopped and started this game a lot until this time, right? Until playing it this time. It was a free download, FYI, on PlayStation Plus, maybe... 5 years ago, 5.5 years ago. So that's how I still have my like physical copy sealed because I never needed it. But yeah, it was a free PlayStation Plus game many years ago. So check your hard drives if you randomly, you might even have it and you don't know it if you've been on PlayStation Plus. If you do that thing where you just download it and keep it on there and play for a rainy day. Puppeteer is a great game. Baby Bottles. Let's start with Michael for a change. What would you rate this from a 0 to 10?
Yeah, I would out of 10.
5 actually.
I was gonna say.
We're adding baby bottles.
Yeah, I mean it's a little more accurate. Like, but I'm gonna go 4.5 out of 5. It's a platformer which I liked.
Yeah.
I thought it was clean, looked great sound.
Yeah. What about you, Adam?
I'm gonna give this one a 5.
Oh yeah,
there you go, perfect.
I don't think I've ever given one a 5 before, but
I don't think you do that very often. Yeah, well, let's let that 5 shine. I'll be with Michael there, because I feel like there's sometimes no warning for when you keep ahead when you're trying to decide. There's a little weird inventory management that kind of gets me from making it a full 5, but a 4.5 is still a wonderful game for a total aggregate score of 4.667-ish.
Repeating or whatever.
Repeating
Forever.
infinitely. Oh, gosh. Let's crunch the numbers. What do you have there? All right, guys, let's do this. Leroy. Best meme of all time. So, yeah, Puppeteer. Pick this thing up. Play it. Great game for kids. And you can hand your kid a Move controller or a regular controller, and they can have fun with it, too. All right, guys, moving on to our second game, our listener pick. You guys ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready. I was born ready.
All right. Ball Blazer. Champions, specifically for the PlayStation 1. What a fun game. Listener submitted. Been in there for a while. I bought this after it was submitted years and years ago. I wasn't sure what it was. I thought it was a vehicular combat game. But basically, it's up there with Rocket League. Sorry, I don't. You didn't email us during this break. You had time, so email us if this was your pick, and we'll give you credit for it next time. But I did. Listener pick's been in there for a little while. So tell us a little bit about Ball Blazer. I'm sorry. Let me do the back of the box real quick.
Yeah, back of the box.
Back of the box. And again, 60 episodes to figure out
back
to do
of
this
the jewel
first.
case.
Yeah.
All right.
Back of the case.
Ball Blazer champion. Fire it up, sports fans. It's time to rumble. Part hockey, part racing, and part total insanity. Ball Blazer champions blast you into a fiery future where the stakes are high and the competition fierce. So, jump. That's weird. It were all this.
Did
it
say comma?
No. I
Okay.
just like,
All right.
it's weird for the last sentence. So, jump into your rotofoil. That's their name for their car or vehicle. Maybe that's a thing. Like, is a rotofoil like some sort of farm equipment thing I don't know about?
No, it's like a ball washer.
Oh,
I
gotcha.
have no idea. Yeah.
Gotcha. Are we talking
your
golf or are we talking?
We're talking life.
No, I was going to say bowling.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Family friendly. Grab your burning
Moist.
plasmoid and blaze it to your goal for glory. Customize one of 8 rotofoils for speed, maneuverability, and heat-seeking action. True 3D. Oh, I love this. True 3D terrains. Well, have you seen Puppeteer, Ball Blazer? Power-ups include cloaking, plasma, homing missiles, and more. Freestyle tournament and 2-player modes keep the competition sizzling. Ball Blazer champions. The future of sports never looked so bright. And then a couple other things. Taste the thrill of victory. You shoot, you score. Awesome 3D environments. And, it has the little pictures. Means lots of room for these winning moves. That's the gist of it. Kids to adult, rated K to A. A LucasArts joint. And they even had their fake IBC, Interstellar Ball Blazer Conference. It's kind of like the NFL. They went all out for this thing. Let's talk a little about the stats there, Adam.
Sure. It was developed by Factor 5 and in North America, published by LucasArts and Bulletproof in Japan. It came out in 97 here in North America. And it actually came out here in North America in 97 and didn't make it to Japan until a year later, March of 98. But yeah, this is a really 90s game.
Yeah.
It's got the kind of psychedelic colors. I mean, the back of the box is pretty darn 90s.
Yeah.
I guess the graphics, the best way I can describe them, if you took, think of the arenas in Rocket League, and then put them in the graphics of Wipeout, like the old 32-bit Wipeouts.
Yeah, and then slow everything down.
And then slow it down a lot.
Yeah.
That's roughly what this kind of looks like.
Yeah, and I think it looks really good.
Yeah, it does. The thing that I notice the most about it is, my gripe about PS1 games is always that the warping. You get near a wall and it warps out, or you'll have walls or straight lines that kind of, I don't really know the right word, but they sort of collapse on themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this doesn't do that. Like, everything looks pretty stable. If you can imagine N64 stability of graphics with the PlayStation motif, it looks like a PlayStation game, but it has the stability in the graphics that an N64 game would.
A lot of triangles, polygons, but the triangles don't have to warp. And they don't have to warp because they're not... Honestly, I think it's because it can load in the entire arena, so it doesn't have to play those games about cheating and, like, what's behind you and in front of you. It fits. The game itself, which I didn't know until after playing it. I didn't realize that this was like a kind of long-standing, not arcade game, but an old console game back in the Amiga, Atari, Spectrum, MSX, like basically anything back in the early 80s, late 70s. This was like Battlezone, similar to that. Like if Battlezone wasn't you're shooting other people, but you're taking a ball to a goal. Very simplistic graphics. Not like, not necessarily like this, but when I saw the old game, I said, oh, well, I now get why they made decisions.
This makes sense.
It does. And I could see now what I kind of found was in my research for this, I realized a lot of people who played Ball Blazer back in the day and liked it did not like this game so much. But if you didn't know it existed, it was good. And I'm glad I played it after because there were some choices that were made. So basically you're in an arena. And it almost looks like that. What was that show where BattleBots, right? You're kind of. It feels like you're kind of BattleBots against each other, except you're soccer, right? You're taking a ball, and as soon as you get close to this glowing orb, it connects to the front of you, and you can use bullets or you can pick up power ups to like lose that said ball, and you shoot it forward. But what happens is the ball that you're holding is basically floating back and forth in front of you, kind of like an old field goal or a soccer kicking. Like presentation of like if you let it go when it's on the right side of your ship, it'll go right. If you let it go when it's in the front of your ship, you'll time it perfectly. But it's constantly doing that. So if you quickly want to kick it down the field, you might have to wait a half a second to make sure you're kicking it straight. So I like that. But back when I saw the original old arcade, it totally pulled from that. And the big knock was the simplicity of that game, which is why I think Rocket League's so great because it's very simple. The simplicity of the old arcade game, I could see how people just loved it and it was pick up and play. But this one, once you start unlocking arenas and they get pretty vertical and they end up looking like a Tony Hawk Pro Skater, it starts to get pretty difficult and then a little more frustrating. But you play against it. I played against a computer AI. And much like any tiered system, the first few games were pretty easy, but it took me a while to kind of realize what the power-ups were. But the opening movie was funny. I mean, they sell this thing like it's like its own sport. Like they really thought this thing through, I think, thinking that they were going to make a lot of sequels.
Maybe it was going to be a franchise. The other thing that kind of struck me about it is, in typical keeping with games of the era, it had the kind of cheesy announcer dude.
Yeah.
Sort of. I mean, think about NBA Jam. Kind of the zany wowie wow kind of guy. But so it's got that. So if you like that, it's got it. Which I kind of 5 years ago I probably would have found that super annoying, but now I kind of find it like kind of endearing.
Yeah,
if that makes sense about a game.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's got the sort of boom shakalaka kind of vibe to it.
Yeah, it's fun. The big thing that struck me even from the opening cutscenes was like, and I think it's just because opening cutscenes are slow, but these vehicles are really slow.
Yes.
Why I think they're like a tank is they don't move very fast. You could of course get some boost pads and go a little bit faster, but again, coming from a guy and longtime listeners know I love Rocket League, rocket powered cars. There's no rocket power foil here. These look kind of like spaceships that are attached to the ground that someone's kind of controlling with like a remote control. Like you're going the equivalent of maybe 10 miles an hour if this was real life, right?
You gotta like run over power ups.
It's more like bumper cars at the amusement park.
Good call. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I almost feel like maybe that was a limitation of the hardware in a lot of ways because
Wipeout.
Well, that's true, but it maybe there's a good analogy, maybe it isn't. But if you ever played Stunt Race FX on Super Nintendo, I kind of get the same vibe from this because it's sort of like it's not a bad game, but I want it to go a little bit faster, and I know the only reason you're making it not go faster is so that everything in the game doesn't collapse on itself.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Then I feel like it could have made at least the arenas a little smaller. If there's definite strategy there, and it can take a while. And it's so basically you need 5 goals to advance, and they are timed. So if you get more goals in a given period, or you get up to 5, you win that one, and then you kind of reset and start another period. There's not a ton of cutscenes, but if you, I figure if you do, is it split screen for 2 players since we didn't get to play
I
2
honestly
player?
don't know the answer to that.
Has to be, I guess, right? I just don't know if it's vertical or horizontal. Hopefully, it's horizontal split screen.
You know, a bunch of the PlayStation games though had that vertical split screen.
I don't know
God,
why.
I hate it because, like, I mean, again, off topic a little bit, but what is it, Moto Racer?
Yeah.
I remember playing Motor Racer thinking it was so awesome, but then when I would try to play it with a buddy, it would do like the vertical split.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So annoying, just ruin the game. But yeah, I'm not sure on this. I guess I should know that.
Yeah. I love how the copy I picked up is in such pristine condition. I'm like opening up the controller, like history of Ball Blazer. I didn't even read this. I should have. Look, the history of Ball Blazer, 2,000 space battles couldn't answer this question. By then, the Zalactics, Thribbles, Manbites, and Cretans had all gotten away. It's like they probably had a comet of Ball
No,
Blazer.
this needs a Netflix series.
Yeah, definitely. I do like the look of the ships. Again, the graphics, I think, again, for PS1, I was, and it's
they're not
funny,
bad.
simple rules, right? And, the ball is blazing. It looks like a molten hot thing. If I would have played this back in the day, you aren't kidding. I would have loved this game.
Mm-hmm.
I think this was a ton of fun. I think it just, not a lot of people knew it. And probably the people that played the old one, I could see would not have been. It got rid of the simplicity, which I think comparing it to the old one, it's difficult. But you can unlock the old one. Did you know that? You can unlock.
No, I didn't know that.
And it's its own remastered version. The one for PS1. So this is another reason to pick this one up because it's not expensive, and you probably have glossed over it many times. It's early if you're alphabetical, right?
Yeah,
and it kind of falls under sports game prices a lot of times. But you can unlock an old Ball Blazer. But what they did was they basically had the PS team probably build the game from the ground up because it's not a port of an old like Spectra, ZDX version or whatever. And that was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was a ton of fun to play.
I mean, I was actually just looking up the prices of it. Complete will run you, $7 to $10, something like that. So
Pretty
it's
inexpensive.
Yeah, it's totally not an expensive game. And honestly, like PlayStation back in the day, I mean, because I was a Nintendo kid and I had an N64, I used to be like super jealous looking in like EGM.
Yeah.
Because you would look at like the review section and it would be like,
oh yeah,
40 PS1 games, 2 Saturn games, 3 N64 games.
Oh, yeah.
And so much of the stuff that just came out on PlayStation back in the day, I mean, the PlayStation owners, and PlayStation kids, they just, bask in all the wealth and glory of all the games.
Well, every audio was better in every PlayStation.
Yeah, I mean the audio
automatically got like a win there.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm sure that this was just like a game where it, there's so many things were coming out and everything else. It just didn't get that much attention. Just like N64, you're almost forced to pay attention to every release. Versus PlayStation, where it was like things just came and went.
How many more PlayStation games did they make? As I know, there's.
Oh, you mean in total? There's something like 1,800, 1,700.
Yeah, so
North American
compared
releases.
To like 200,
Yeah.
300.
It's like
N64.
Yeah, it's like 276 or something.
Yeah.
For N64,
which is less than. I mean, PS2. Yeah, I think to even a more degree did that because there are way more PS2 games than PS1.
Yeah, there's like 2,500 North American.
Yeah,
PS2
so for every
games,
Ball Blazer there's probably 2 or 3 on the PlayStation 2. That's why when physical media dies, don't freak out, people. You've got a lot to go back and look through and pretend to play later or something like that. You know what I mean? Like you're going to look at it and be like, "Oh my god, there's 1,200 games. How am I going to play all these games in the future?" There's a lot. But that's a story for another day. The death of physical media.
I've actually decided I think the last system I'm ever going to collect physical media for is going to be Switch. I mean, maybe I'm wrong about that.
No, you said that before.
I really feel like Switch is where I'm going to end it.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. It's it's on the card. Some of them download, but remember, PS4, PS5, it's all just kind of ripping from the disc, and then you're not really playing it off the disc.
I will say, when you say collect, I feel like for most people, you'll still probably buy like.
A
good chunk, like 30, 40.
You never know. Or what about the Amico? The Amico you can collect.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's true. But, I mean, it's going to be mostly digital, though, right?
But there's some physical, maybe. Oh, we'll save that for the Amico E3 segment.
Yeah,
well,
but
let's move on.
Sure. Sorry, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, we're getting ahead of ourselves. So, Ball Blazer. The music's good. It's kind of riffy. Right. It's you know what I actually like? Actually, I'm underselling it. I don't know why I didn't talk about it yet. Ball Blazer's music is like really... I don't know why they did this. It's like they saved money by getting real 80s riffs, like synthesizers and stuff like that. The music is kind of like, real like weird butt rock stuff. It's really weird stuff. It's good. I think that makes it, but I could see why people would say like, oh god, this is like a dated soundtrack back in the day. But I think it's really good.
Yeah, it's not Nickelback, right?
Yeah, definitely not. I could totally see like loving this back in the day. I would be singing the praises too. Thank you for our listener who submitted this wonderful book club pick. Pick it up because it's super cheap and you will have fun with it. And it's a product of its time for sure. But if all that sounds interesting, yeah, pick it up. Baby bottles. I'll go first this time. I'm going to go, and I remember I base a lot of my score on what is it trying to do?
Are we doing this one out of 20? Or?
Does it accomplish it? Yes, I know. Out of 20. No, let's see. Well, a total of 15, I guess, if you want to split hairs there, Michael.
There you
go. Actually, it's out of 2.
Ooh.
Anybody get
what?
Ball Blazer. Never mind.
Oh, I got it.
That was a kind of tough one.
It flew over my head. Yeah,
that was a tough one. Well,
we're catching up.
Hopefully not. If it flies over your head, and it doesn't quite make it over, you would be
any listeners that actually caught that joke. Comment down below,
or the joke that I just said that Michael didn't hear. Hopefully,
yeah, I missed it.
Oh, it's okay.
Sorry,
it's okay. You want some tea later?
Oh, okay.
All right. Why? When did we become the podcast of inside jokes that barely we get? We better cut this out.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. So, anyway, Ball Blazer Champions for the PS1. Pick it up. I'm gonna go with 4. 4 baby bottles out of 5. Accomplishes what it needs to. A fun, enjoyable 2-player romp. But you can play with yourself. And if you're looking for a fun game to kind of get nuanced and good at and kind of zone out. What?
Sorry, when
is it wrong?
Yeah,
I was actually thinking about like Benjamin plays this game in a romper.
Really? Yeah. You know what I thought? I was thinking, was it a moist romp?
Yeah. Oh god.
Sorry.
I had the vision of you.
Me and Adam both were smiling.
Yeah. Whenever you said romp, I just was.
I don't know. We're
hey, I'm just. Get me. I've got a word of the day calendar. So, but what would you say? Adam?
I would give it a 3 out of 5.
Yeah,
personally,
I'm gonna go 3 out of 5. Yeah. It's solid, but you do think of Rocket League, which kind of hurts it a little bit, I feel like. But if you think back in the day, music's solid. It's just a little clunky for me.
All right, good. Those are our video game book club picks for this episode. Yeah, and oh my gosh, our podcast was. Just hijacked right now.
Yeah, we don't know if you heard the knocking at the door, but
yeah. Oh my gosh, who's here in Adam's place right now? What's your name, young man?
Grayson.
Oh, Grayson, you took over. Is that seat warm?
Yeah.
Is it a little moist? Yep, he's.
He doesn't even know how to react.
No,
to that.
I know. Sometimes when grown-ups sit in a chair, it makes it warm for a while. So, Grayson, how are you doing?
Yeah.
Good.
Happy summer. You playing in your pool? Your new pool?
Well, we played in it yesterday. Well, this is sort of isn't game related.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, that's okay.
But I spent the night at my Mimi and Papa's house
yesterday,
like for the whole entire night.
Oh, wow. So it was the first time you ever did that?
Well, I did it at their old house. Like a couple days, they moved in a couple days ago. Like we were there before them.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
So you tested it out. So is it kind of scary? And it's okay to say scary. Like when you're in a new house, there's new noises and things like that. Was it kind of hard to go to sleep or did you go to sleep real easy?
Well, it was kind of hard to go to sleep.
I can understand that. Yeah. Where did you get to sleep?
Well, like when you walk through the front door, like.
Yeah. Oh, you're really picking a picture. Yeah, no,
like,
it's okay. Tell me.
No, it's perfect.
Like, I think it's the left.
Okay.
And then,
if you're wrong, I don't want to go in the wrong room.
Yeah.
And then go forward a bit. Then, like, the room you see on your left again.
Sure.
Is the room that I sleep in.
Great. And now.
And me and Indy. Like, we both slept there.
Oh, wow. That's fun. All right. And make sure not to go in the room to the right because there's a treasure chest in there. And you open it up, and there's either snakes or spiders or gold coins. I like the way you kind of gave us a tutorial.
So, the room on the right is actually the bathroom.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well, it's always good to know where that thing is.
Treasures in there, too.
Yeah. Yeah, you can make treasures, too.
And, like, on the room, like, when you go forward, enter the room like in front of you.
Yeah.
That's my Mimi's office.
Oh, awesome.
Excellent.
All right. And what's the code to her safe?
She doesn't have a safe.
Dang it.
We're teasing.
Dang it. I know. We're just messing around. Thank you for describing that eloquently and perfectly. I think you also having a chance to have a pool, having your sister, and your sister's 3 now. Is she playing any games with you yet, or is she not quite old enough?
Well, we've been playing games on our trampoline.
Oh,
Nice.
Oh, like
And
real life
with my
games.
friends next door.
That's awesome. Your friends next door. You want to give them a shout out? What's their names?
Orion and Leela.
Ryan and Leela.
Very
Awesome.
nice.
Orion.
Oh, they're gonna get Orion.
Oh, Ryan, sure.
Oh,
Irish.
cool. Does she wear a belt?
No.
Yeah, thank you for getting that joke.
I don't even think I got it.
Oh, okay.
It's a dad joke.
Yeah, dad joke.
Oh, okay.
Full of dad jokes. Dad jokes are kind of not so funny, but we understand that, Grayson. We totally get it.
That one was sort of funny.
Oh, you liked it?
Oh,
Thank
okay.
you.
Nice.
2 points for you. Maybe you just stay in the chair the rest of the night. No, I'm just kidding. Well, Grayson, we're gonna make sure we have a full Game Shark for next episode. Okay, so you got some homework. Your homework is to play Roblox. You can do that, and one other game, and you can pick it, and then you tell us about it next time.
Like the Build Garage game.
That one,
Sure.
don't give it away. You
Yeah.
got here it is. It's all about keeping it secret, so then other people anticipate it. So we'll pretend we didn't find out about this awesome game where you build garages. Okay, but
But it
it's
wasn't really that.
oh, it was
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Look, he's
Yeah.
already getting it.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
fake
got
out.
it. Yeah,
Good.
take that, listeners. All right. Well, Grayson, it's awesome seeing you. And Donna. Next episode 61, we'll make sure to have a full segment with you for Grayson's Game Shark. All right, anything you want to tell us that's funny about your dad that your dad would be embarrassed about that you now can do it because you have a microphone and 20 years from now you can laugh at? Go. Anything?
No.
Oh, he's a good
But I
son.
do actually have a thing about Roblox.
Let's save it for episode 61.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Roblox coming at you. Update 61. Thanks, Grayson.
Thanks.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Well, back to our book club picks for next episode. It is Michael's turn for the PlayStation 3. We'll let the dad pick first. Michael, what game did you pick for our listeners for our video game book club for episode 61 for the PlayStation 3? Doesn't have to be exclusive, just not in the top 15%. Go, Michael.
Asura's Wrath for PS3, Capcom game.
All right, nice pull. That's a
Yeah.
nice pull. Video game collectors should be familiar with this game. It gets brought up a lot and kind of hidden gemmy. It was kind of popular, somewhat under the radar pick. Excited. That's a great pick. Also for the 360, is this an expensive game?
I don't think so. I could look
50
it
or
up real
60
fast.
bucks.
Yeah. So
Is it that much? Wow.
Yeah, maybe more.
So it's very Japanese looking, but it's not a JRPG, thank gosh, something like that. But it's an action game. Oh, through and through. I played this back in the day and I really liked it. This game, if
Jeez
you,
Louise, $80.
80?
$80 complete.
What? Look at the track. What was it like?
It was so in July one year ago.
20.
Yeah, June, July. It was about a $20 game.
Yeah.
1 year ago.
Well, I do think it's a great game. I just think there's a lot of copies out there, so maybe don't buy it at $80.
Yeah, I mean, I seemingly, this isn't like the most popular PS3 game, but it ain't hard to find.
No. A great game, great style, but it goes in, we'll just say this, it goes places, and they're pretty entertaining places. It gets pretty crazy. So I'm excited for that pick. Asura's Wrath is our video game dad pick. Now for our listener pick. Here we go. I know. I know.
Yeah,
Pretend we didn't already
I
do it
can't
during
do
the
it
last
normal.
break. We already put it in our bingo ball cage, and number 22 got brought up, and number 22 is Atari Carts for the Jaguar.
Sweet, some Jaguar love.
Have we ever had a Jaguar game?
I don't think so.
Where did you learn to fly?
How many good Atari games? Well, no, Jaguar games are
There's
there.
like a handful of decent Jaguar games.
All right, and I don't know Atari Carts. This is going to be. Do you own it?
I do not own it. Shane has it though.
Oh, does he? Okay, we might have to break in his house. Let's do it. Dun,
Yeah.
dun.
Dun, 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 dun,
Ocean's 4. Yeah, we're definitely the B team. Actually, we're more like.
Yeah, I actually last time I played Atari Carts was at Shane's on the Samsung GTX gaming television.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So you actually have even played it.
Yeah, and I played it recently, actually.
Wow.
Not too long ago. Probably
Awesome.
6 months, something like that.
Awesome. All right. Yeah. Well, Atari Karts for the Jaguar is our listener pick, and Asur's Wrath for the PlayStation 3 is our video game dad pick. All right. Hey, guys, E3 happened. Shall we talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, we love the E's.
Yeah, we love the E's. We love the threes. Ubisoft had a press conference. Why don't we kind of go in order, go through some things? I've got some show notes brought up.
Yeah, you're gonna have to educate us.
So I did run through a lot of the. I will say this E3 was good, but again, it wasn't in person. There was a lot of press conferences. Some were overwhelming, some were underwhelming. But we'll talk about some of the things that stood out. So Ubisoft press conference was fine. They didn't show off a new Assassin's Creed or anything like that, but they did talk a lot
amazingly,
about.
it's like the first time they've not shown off an
Yeah,
Assassin's
they
Creed
did.
in
They
like
did
forever.
talk about that movie with the blue things that they put their tails in things, otherwise known as Avatar. There's Avatar. The first trailer for Frontiers of Pandora came off. Everybody's excited about that. Let's move on to the next thing. All right. Far Cry 6. They showed more of this game. Far Cry 6 has that wonderful actor that was in Breaking Bad as the villain this time. So that's great. I forget his name. Anybody?
I do
Begins
too.
with a G. He's really good. Dang
Yeah,
it.
I know. I'm blanking.
Oh man, I don't know if he sells chicken like he did in that show, but it looks kind of like it looks like a Far Cry game, right? They've got some weird weapons. One of the weapons is like, I think it has something to do with music, like you shoot CDs out and stuff like that. Tonally, it was really weird. So the trailer came out and it was kind of like rated M for mature. They showed a lot of like kind of iffy stuff, like they're shooting and stuff where it was kind of, and then they showed another trailer, another press conference that made it a lot more like lighthearted, like, oh, this is a Far Cry game where you just basically, you see an encampment and how do you figure this out? How do you use animals to break inside? I love that kind of stuff. I think Far Cry is great. It's very formulaic.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite franchises.
Yeah. Well, did you play Far Cry 5?
Yeah, I played like essentially 3 through 5.
Oh, awesome! Yeah. Those are great games.
Yeah, I think all of them, especially at their time, was pretty top notch.
Oh yeah. Far Cry 3. I mean,
that's probably my favorite.
Yeah. I am totally ignorant on Far Cry or Assassin's Creed for that matter.
Oh, okay.
But
Ubisoft is not for you.
no, I like so my Ubisoft games are Rayman.
Okay.
I love Rayman.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever played Child of Light.
Yeah.
Love that game.
That's good too. Yeah.
But I like their kind of artsy, pixely 2D games. I don't really play any of the 3D games.
Yeah, so
because I'm old.
Well, Far Cry 3 was the first time where you're like, hey, I got a flaming arrow. Let me shoot it in the
only Far Cry I've
ground.
ever played is Blood Dragon.
That's a good one to play.
I love it. Yeah, it's great.
So
I haven't played any of the others.
So they did announce that Far Cry Blood Dragon is going to come out for like PS5.
It needs to.
Yeah. So
They
and like
they need to make a true sequel, like a true standalone game.
yeah, like they're gonna re-release all the old ones, I guess. But Far Cry 3 was great. But what I was getting at was like it's one of the first things where you just like shoot fire in the woods, and then all of a sudden like I got to run away from this.
Yeah,
like
the
I've
whole
created a
fire.
yeah. All the dynamics and with the animals and a bunch of different ways. Like you could either sneak into places or you can pick them off from the outside. You kind of feel like Superman, but then again, you have to be smart about it. I do love the Far Cry games. People didn't like 5 that much. I thought that was great. I love the co-op and stuff you could do. But anyway, so Far Cry's Far Cry. That's coming out later. They finally, I think, said by the end of the year. It's about a year late. The sequel to Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle was
I'm actually
announced.
kind of excited about that.
Are you? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if either one of you guys played Rabbids.
I played it. I think it's okay. But
yeah, it's all right. I mean, I mean, part of my personal enjoyment comes from the fact that Grayson loves it.
Sure.
It was like one of his favorite games of the last
Yeah.
couple of years, so he'll be all over it. It looks good. I mean, it looks polished.
Yeah.
Just like the other one.
As far as Assassin's Creed, the Valhalla, the Vikings game, is announcing new DLC that's going to be free for everyone. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I heard Valhalla I did not play this one. Black Flag, I really liked. That's one of my favorite ones. Haven't really had much time because since 2017, when my firstborn was born, it's really hard to kind of get into that. But love me some Assassin's Creed back in the day, and Valhalla is I heard a long game too. Like
yeah. I've never had the patience for the Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah,
I started playing them, and then I just want to run right through it. I just can't creep around that much.
Oh yeah, I will say like Assassin's Creed 2 still to this day. I mean, just being able to climb through Rome and Venice and there's nothing like it. But yes, formulaic. That's another one.
I've never been big on stealthy games, just in the general sense.
Yeah, well, I mean, honestly,
more Rambo style.
I will say this: Assassin's Creed to someone who hasn't played it, it sounds more stealthy than what it is. There's not a lot of stealth segments.
Yeah.
In it.
Well, I mean, I like the games though where like
Asura's Wrath or something where it's all in your face.
well, like Uncharted. It's like you
sure.
can be stealthy and you can do all this and stuff, or you can run in, guns ablazing. I never do the stealth thing.
Right.
Even on the parts where it's like you should do stealth, like the game is telling you should do stealth. It's like no, I've got enough bullets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Ubisoft, something that was missing, at least for me, of course, is there was nothing released about Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of a disappointment.
Yeah, and it's still supposedly in the works. We'll see, but that was disappointing. I'll hope for next year. That'd be great because then they're live in person. So Ubisoft was okay. Xbox and Bethesda had a joint conference because Xbox and Bethesda,
since Xbox owns the world.
they're making some good moves there. Starfield has an official release date. That will be November of 2022. So wait a while for that. It is going to be an Xbox exclusive. Yeah, it's first in-game footage. I don't know. There's a little Mass Effect vibe to it. We'll see. Any of you guys played the new Mass Effect? I need again.
Which one is it?
I have this thing called Time.
PS3.
Yeah.
It's basically the remake of the first three. It came out. Halo Infinite, the multiplayer trailer arrived. It looks like a Halo game. Exciting, but
it's still a Halo game.
Yeah.
Halo is still Halo.
Halo is still Halo. It looked good.
Yeah,
if you're
it
into
does.
Halo, you'd love that game.
I'll play it. I mean, Grayson and we wanted to play it, so we'll play it.
Yeah, I still have great memories. Halo 2, I've kind of fallen off. Outer Worlds 2, I never played the first one. Sea of Thieves, they talked about that.
Outer Worlds is pretty good, just as an aside.
It's
I mean, it's a long game. You can spend a lot of time on it, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, Sea of Thieves, a lot. There's a certain amount of people that play that game. That's a fun game too. Not a whole lot, unless again, you kind of need to be hyped for a game like this. Battlefield, that was announced too. So if you're into the Battlefield games, I will say the trailer for the new Battlefield, watch it. This is going to be one of those.
Yeah, I did see that. That looked good.
Yeah, one thing I want to sneak in here too, just for since I'm an Xbox person now.
Sure.
Hades, one of the games I've been talking about a lot on the podcast lately. Just FYI, it's coming on Series X and Xbox One for Game Pass August 13th.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, and
so if you have Game Pass, that's one you should definitely visit.
Oh, and PS4 too. Yes, that is actually something throughout all of Microsoft press conference. The thing that stood out the most was Microsoft had announced a ton of games.
Dude, Game Pass is going to be murdering it in the next year.
Yeah, the amount of games that came out on Game Pass that they showed off, I want to say 70 games, and 60 of them day one Game Pass. They want to grab the bull by the horns for this generation.
Yeah, Game Pass is their thing.
Yeah, if you just want to play games right now and you're on the fence, after this, I'm like, if you really have no care about PlayStation exclusives, I mean, it's hard not to sell. Yeah,
I still say Xbox is, I mean, as far as overall, being on a budget, best game deal.
Oh, of course.
So to speak, Game Pass is still the best if you don't care, especially if you don't care about physical media.
Yeah, they showed Forza Horizon. So Forza Horizon games I really liked. The fifth one. So this is the kind of realistic, arcadey, open world racer that. It's just a ton of fun. If you're a car guy or you like cars, this has every car you can think of in the Forza Horizon games. And you can, from a Jeep Willys, an old school one, up to a hypercar, you can have fun in Horizon. And it's very dynamic. The graphics are really great. It's kind of like Gran Turismo, even though Gran Turismo is still technically a thing, the wow factor.
It's like open world Gran Turismo.
Yeah, with a wow factor and a fun factor that kind of goes extra. Gran Turismo is all about precision, and there's something about that.
I used to love Gran Turismo. I can't figure it out.
It's so tedious. Yeah,
I know.
It's just getting
the driver's licenses and stuff. I used to spend hours doing that. Ugh.
That's but that's kind of the fun of that.
It was
I
an
guess.
accomplishment once
Yes.
you do it.
Once
I'm
you
a great virtual driver now.
Yeah. Yeah. But the placement of this the setting was very high. Like everybody was wondering, like, where's the setting going to be? Because that's the big thing for like the release and the reveal. And interestingly, the setting for Forza 5 is going to be Mexico.
Interesting.
And what's kind of nice about this is most of the time when Mexico is represented in video games, it has a lot to do with the cartel, drugs, seedy underbelly of Mexico. This is actually showing off like kind of the lush, like, you know, there's some really pretty like areas of Mexico to drive through, and it's from the beaches to kind of the desert, but it's kind of like a living desert. Like their desert's still very green and things like that. So that's kind of different, a different take. So that's kind of nice. And what else? Let's keep going. Those are kind of the big things that stood out. Square Enix.
We didn't mix. Just to back up for a second.
Oh, sure.
We didn't mention that the Xbox mini fridge is happening.
Oh yeah, that's right. They said how everybody joked that was a big meme that the Xbox new console looked like a mini fridge. Microsoft is. And they did that at the very end. They should have opened with it.
They really should have been this like mini fridge, and then like fake ended the show, and then did the rest of the show.
Yeah, so a legit mini fridge that can hold like 6, Mountain Dew.
It probably
sodas.
it only holds Mountain Dew and Doritos.
Yeah, but that was a thing that was kind of cute. There was a ton of games. Like Life is Strange. That's not technically the Square, but Xbox exclusives. The big takeaway here was the Game Pass. The amount of games that they just said are definitely going to come out is huge. So Guardians of the Galaxy kind of took me off guard. I'm honestly kind of hyped for it, despite the fact that the Avengers was known to be not a good game at all. I didn't play it, so the Avengers.
I didn't play it either, but it definitely didn't get good press.
Yeah, the Avengers game was like a single player game that turned out to be like a not fun, tedious, disjointed mess of a game that was hidden behind a lot of like paywall, and like you have to grind a lot. But it's not really a single player game. Guardians of the Galaxy looks in the same aesthetic, but the combat it's heavy. It's basically going to be a single player action shooter game that is has a lot of squad based. Like the trailer they showed off. Did either of you guys get to see the trailer?
I did not.
I saw like half of it.
Okay, so they showed a long trailer, but it has that weird where it doesn't have the likenesses, but it supposedly is pulling from the comics a lot. But then again, a lot of the jokes, the inside jokes, which I like. I like Guardians of the Galaxy. I like their kind of they. It seems like the writing in it is very good, and doesn't feel as fake as the Avengers game.
It's self-aware.
Yeah, it's self-aware, and it's coming out soon. So it was just announced, but it's coming out in like 3
Yeah, they've
3
been
months.
they've been working on it. I mean, it's just about the same people that did Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3.
I don't know.
I wonder if it is, because that's a really good game. I've enjoyed it. I played through a good chunk of it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, the release date is confirmed. It's coming out in October. But it looks like a lot of fun, and it looks like if you were disappointed with Avengers, you're going to likely like it. But the combat looks really, really good. How you can kind of real time do a lot of like kind of 2-player glory kill type stuff, and call on someone to do like Groot can do a ground pound and
yeah, because
like
they had that kind of stuff in Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3.
I think it's good. So what else stood out? I don't do much like PC gaming, that kind of thing. There was a general E3 kind of like day 3 where they had a lot of the publishers and developers come out. It was nice to see the Intellivision kind of made its first, like on the stage of E3. They got like 15 minutes to do their presentation, right around like when the smaller companies that don't have their own press conferences, like Take-Two and that kind of thing, Rockstar. And Tommy Tallarico, who is he's basically the CEO of Intellivision, bringing back the Amico. We've talked about this before in previous episodes. Not a lot's happened because, of course, 2020 with the shortage, everything kind of got delayed. We were thinking, I think the original release date was late 2020, and it's been pushed to still late 2021, I believe.
Yep.
for the release of this console. But he got a like 10-15 minutes to talk about this system. And what's great is, again, this is something that's not trying to take anything away from the current consoles that are out there. It's a family-friendly console, a la kind of like what the Wii was, where it was very pick up and play.
Local. Its focus is local multiplayer.
Right, exactly.
Which is no one else's focus right now.
Right, exactly.
Yep.
It was nice to see some the buzz, because a lot of people don't know this console is coming out, but it is a legit console, and the tech's there. I've seen it all before, as far as the controllers, and seen some previews for it. It comes with, I believe, a few games, 5 or 6 that come preloaded, and then all the games are going to be exclusive to the Amico. But it's mainly digital buying, digital purchases. But they will have physical media, and most of the games are going to be $9.99 or less, and the physical media is going to be $20 or less. And just so you know, listeners, this is important. We've done a few interviews over the years. I reached out to Tommy Tallarico himself, and he has agreed to be on the show for next episode. So I'm going to interview him before the next episode. So I have a goal to ask him a bunch of questions, but I want our listeners to be a part of this too, because I think our listeners are kind of in the demographic where this would be interesting, because this is a game system that touts itself to being family friendly, something everybody can pick up and play, but everybody from a casual gamer to someone that doesn't play to a hardcore gamer will at least have fun with, right? And then so if you have any questions about the actual system or anything for Tommy Tallarico, please send us an email here in the next couple weeks, and before the next episode. So you've kind of got 2 weeks from the point this airs to send me an email. And to entice you even more, I think what I'm going to do, just so I get a few emails, extra emails to ask him, I'm going to say the best question, I'm going to send you a hat, Video Game Dad's first print hat, to the continental U.S., as long as you're in that. Sorry, I know we have a lot of listeners overseas, but we'll leave it to continental U.S. You get a free hat, and I'll send it to you. Free of charge, although it's kind of subjective. You know what? I'm going to let Tommy pick. I'll ask him some questions, and I will ask Tommy at the end of the interview what his favorite question was. So that leaves it open. So it doesn't even have to be about the Amico. It could be just for Tommy Tallarico. So if you have any questions about that, let me know. I tried to ask him about the physical media to get a little bit more information about it, and I know it has an NFC reader in it. So I'm wondering if there's no cartridge slot in this thing. This is a question I kind of have, is like, what is this physical media going to be like? It hasn't quite been revealed yet. Card. Yeah, and we're not known for grilling. But no, there's no SD slot, or I don't believe that's going to be a thing. But there is some way this physical media works, and he's being nicely cagey about it, because I'm wondering how this thing works. But more details also, this is $249.99. You can pre-order it either on GameStop's website or in Television's proper website. There's a couple different colors, a black one, a white one, a wood grain one. Adam, you got the Founders Pack, right?
Yeah, Shane and I both pre-ordered the Founders Edition, which I think is like a purple color, like purple and wood grain. I don't even remember, honestly.
I think it's a wood grain one. They've got the Galaxy Purple at GameStop.
That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, mine's the wood grain. Like, it's the classic Founders is the one that I have pre-ordered.
And I missed out on that. I went ahead and pre-ordered it just because I knew I'd get it eventually, and just full disclosure, we are not paid. This is just for you guys and a chance for me to
we're not getting paid. I'm paying for my console.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, it's a good chance to talk to Tommy Tallarico. And if you look him up, he has quite the pedigree of being in the video game business for a very long time.
Yeah, he's made a couple of games.
Yeah, he's made a couple games, composed, Earthworm Jim. And I think he has the Guinness Book World Record, amount of video games he's actually worked on. The list is huge. But also, he's a very passionate guy, believes in this thing.
Honestly, the thing that I find the most interesting about Tommy Tallarico, just in general, and the Amico, I think just generally speaking, everybody talks about hardware and games and all that kind of stuff, but here is a thing where a guy who's a veteran in the industry has taken his own fortune, or not, I shouldn't say fortune, but his own money, his own resources, his own work ethic, and all the rest of that kind of stuff, and is personally not just emotionally invested in this thing, like professionally, emotionally, personally, like he's invested himself into this thing. And I think it's a very novel thing in today's age that you have
Right.
a guy who is putting his own self on the line
Right.
to push a product or to make a thing that otherwise wouldn't exist in this way.
Right.
Especially in regards to, I mean, it's one thing to do games and that kind of stuff. It's a whole other thing to try to do hardware and get it into people's hands and that kind of stuff. And I don't know. I mean, I personally just feel good about being involved in it, even just buying the Founders Edition, just because it is such, you know, you're not talking about some big blob of a corporation or something out somewhere doing something. Like, this is just a dude who's doing this on his own. And I don't know, there's just something cool about that.
Oh yeah, and of course behind every great, you know, or there's a great team there. He is the the face of it, but
correct. There are several other people helping him. But
Yeah.
it's just neat because it feels like a family homegrown thing, and that's really kind of what it's intended to be. I don't know. I just think that's kind of cool.
And not an easy thing to do. Like, I honestly, I don't sweat, you know, every delays, this and that. And unfortunately, you know, there's a time when I think the Intellivision Amico gets lumped in with other consoles recently that, you know, maybe Atari and other, you know, Polymega to a degree, where it's like, gosh, there should be a little bit more fruit from this tree that you've had right now. But this is a thing that's going to come out, right? I think it gets lumped in there because it's not part of the big three, right? And that's okay. I mean, again, you can get capital from a lot of different things to make a console, but all the R&D that goes into it and all the factors, it has to be mind-blowing. Again, you have to have someone that is high energy to do this, and I completely agree with what you said. We should be so lucky to have more choices, because really the system is not set up to give us a lot of choices, right? It's dog eat dog. We lost Sega, right? We've lost a lot of companies that fell out of the hardware manufacturing biz. Video games are still kind of thought of as one person on a couch playing, maybe two. If you can do anything that like creates moments, right, with memories, right? I think that's the big thing. And I think you even mentioned on it is like, we remember our gaming memories. What is the big thing about nostalgia? You try to chase something that you had, and you go after that, you feeling that euphoric effect, the dopamine response, and you want to create these memories in your kids. And it's kind of hard now because everything's, you know, on your tablet or pay to play, and it's like, hey, what is this? And like, or even like Roblox to a degree. It is awesome, and I love that Grayson loves it, but also something that's kind of hard to maybe share with somebody. You can watch other people play it, but the memories that you remember going over to somebody's house, creating memories, gaming memories, all kind of had to do with other people for the most part. I think a lot of that, like Contra, 2-player. It seems like a lot of fun. I'm putting my own dollar behind it to check it out. And, you know, if you have any questions, email videogamedads@yahoo.com for Tommy Tallarico. The best question that gets picked out, I'm going to throw you a hat. So anyway, that's a fun E3 release. Why don't we move on to Nintendo? Right?
Yeah.
Is that enough to kind of go on to Nintendo?
Oh yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, and Nintendo had a few announcements that had me.
Oh, I skipped Capcom. Let's get
you wanna
Capcom
do
real
Capcom?
quick,
Okay.
real
Yeah,
quick out of the
sure.
way.
Okay.
So I haven't played Resident Evil. I've seen some people play it. Sounds freaking great. It looks great. Did either of you guys play it?
No, I still need to go back and finish the last one.
Okay.
I'm like a fair chunk of the way through it, but
the new Ace Attorney Chronicles game released. That's going to come out for PS4 and Switch. That seemed really cool. Monster Hunter Rise. Anybody?
I'm not a Monster Hunter person yet, but it looks cool.
Okay, me neither. All right, well, not a lot to say about that. Bandai also had some releases, but we can move on to Nintendo. So Nintendo was pretty good. They were kind of coming and going with their 40-minute
Yeah, I mean, there are a couple of
presentation.
things maybe you expected to see that you didn't. There's a few things that you didn't expect to see that you did. My personal thing that has me jonesed up the most, I know I'm not alone in this, but is that Metroid Dread game.
So they announced a new Metroid game for the first time in quite a long time.
Dudeness, man, it looks so good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a 2D Metroid, so it's not Metroid Prime 4.
Went back to the roots.
Yeah, this one's more traditional, and from what I understand, this is supposed to be a follow-up to Metroid Fusion.
Okay. That's what I love that game.
Which is awesome. Yeah, both the game. If you've never played the two Game Boy Advance Metroid games, both both Fusion and Zero Mission.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably sacrilege to say this out loud because I love Super Metroid 2. But honestly, if you don't have history with Super Metroid,
which I didn't,
the 2 Game Boy games are probably the easier / better / more fun games to get into now.
My favorite Metroid game is Metroid Fusion, and I haven't played that.
And I actually like Zero Mission personally more than Fusion, but it's like saying, you'd like 2, personal perfect 10 games.
Yeah,
which do you
spaghetti
like
lasagna.
Yeah. So, but in any respect, if it's anything like those, like an updated version, it's polygonal where the other ones are more, pixel based, but man, it just looks so good and it looks so cinematic. And it's going to have the cool, like, music and the vibes
like the music
to
and
it. And man, I'm really excited about it. It just looks perfect.
Yeah. I'm happy for Metroid. People have been waiting a long time for this, and it looks like I love the name Dread because.
But the suit is so cool looking. Like everything about it's cool.
Yeah, Samus, she's in trouble on this one. Like she's getting chased by some pretty hardcore robots from the trailer. But it looks really good. I don't know if they announced a release date on it. I kind of forget. Sorry.
I think so. I actually pre-ordered it last night on Amazon. I still haven't been able to pre-order the special edition steelbook version, but maybe they'll re-release. Maybe I already missed it, but I think it's at October. If I'm not mistaken, was the expected release date. But if it, it's Nintendo, so who knows?
That's great. I did see a developer interview, something that stood out. I think I said before the show. It was interesting because the developer said, this idea for this Metroid's been on the shelf for a while, and the reason they haven't released it is because when they thought about this concept 15 years ago, they said the technology wasn't up to a point where they could release it, which they said, they were waiting for the technology to catch up to their idea. And they said that happened now. But in the trailer, I couldn't quite grasp what that meant. So it looks like more to come because I'm kind of interested. I bet you there's more layers to this.
They were probably waiting to sell more amiibos.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true.
The amiibo technology.
Yeah, there's some amiibos out for that. I'll point out what stood out. Mario Golf Super Rush.
Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
That looks great.
Mario Golf games are great.
Yeah, and this one looks extra great. Like I love Hot Shots. I'm gonna definitely pick this thing up. But they said there's additional post-launch confirm. It's coming out real soon. I think it's June, right?
Yeah, I think it's something like that. Yeah.
So it is this month. Shin Megami Tensei game, not my bag. Anybody else?
Yeah, so people who love them, but it's exclusive, I think, isn't it?
Yes.
I believe so, yeah, which is surprising to me.
So what I was really excited for, and I kind of thought they would do this with the Switch, is they announced a new WarioWare game called WarioWare Get It Together. I like that.
Yeah, feed your ADD, get you some WarioWare.
Yeah, and I needed to hear that. I need to hear that from WarioWare. I need to get it together. So what's great is for the first time they said that there would be some multiplayer in these WarioWare games. If you've never heard of and living under a rock, I guess, WarioWare are tiny mini games. But again, when you think mini game, you go right to like...
Is it like Wii and GameCube? I think they were both on.
Yeah, and they also had Game Boy Advance.
It was a GameCube.
DS. So all the handhelds have had different forms of it.
I mean, and they're like super short, very simple, like line the finger up with the nostril, you know, kind of game.
Yeah, they're very quick kind of Twitch games.
10 seconds at a time.
Yeah, but very silly. And a lot of fun. Kind of a quirky game, but definitely something where they don't have a game for a couple years. You're itching to play more. And since they announced that there's some co-op and the Switch has their exclusive little Joy-Cons, this looks great. I'm excited for that. And then finally at the end, people who are really waiting for Breath of the Wild, the sequel, which now we're going on 4 years, 5 years almost. Like the Switch is actually 5 years old. They're still saying 2022 for Zelda. They didn't announce very much. They showed some footage finally. So
everything's like in the sky and crap.
Yeah, they kind of said this is going to be a vertical. So it's funny, like BioShock 3, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, BioShock Infinite. That looks really good. It looks like a sequel like you would expect from that franchise.
Yeah, it'll be another big time suck, yeah. The game that actually has me the most excited from Nintendo is the remake of Advance Wars.
Oh, yeah.
1 and 2. And not everybody knows about Advance Wars because the games are kind of old now, but they're these simple turn-based strategy games. But apparently, these are remakes, built back again from the ground up, and they're old intelligent system games. I don't know that I've spent more time on any two games, like in all of games, than I have on Advanced Wars 1 and 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're simple games to play. They're simple games to pick up and get into. They are exceedingly difficult to master, and you can spend just gobs of time either playing single player, multiplayer. I'm sure these will have an online mode. But my son's old enough now that he's going to be able to play this with me. And I never have been able to play it multiplayer really. So I'm very excited about those two games. And those two games by themselves, if you want to, that's the only two games you would ever need.
There you go.
Yeah. It's called Advance because of the Advance, and it's funny, the sequel, right? Isn't it called like Reboot Camp? Like,
yeah,
it's a reboot.
yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, they're calling it a reboot, something or other.
Yeah. And so, if you haven't played these before, I kind of wish they would have a retro mode with the graphics, because the new graphics kind of look like
it's like Wargroove. I mean,
a Wii U title or something like that. It doesn't that doesn't do a lot.
Not. Yeah, but it's not about the graphics really with those games, because even the Game Boy Advance games, they don't even look great for Game Boy Advance games, but they're just really good. And if you haven't played Advance Wars, but you played things like Disgaea or Wargroove, which Wargroove basically is a rip-off of this, which in a good way, but Wargroove's the same sort of game, or Fire Emblem in a lot of ways is a lot like Advance Wars.
Yeah. So that's exciting. And they also announced another Game & Watch with Zelda now. So the Mario Game & Watches, when they came out, we were thinking, oh gosh, they're going to be scarce, limited, like all the old small NES
And then they sold
systems.
a bazillion of them.
Yeah, so it looks like they're going, instead of doing the mini systems that has been the thing the last few years and kind of slowed down because we were waiting for a 64 and all these other things that kind of didn't seem super plausible. But maybe in the next few years, who knows? We might be wrong. I'd like to be wrong. But now the Game & Watch is coming out. And what's funny is I think they're doing it even better than Mario. So Mario had the original Mario Brothers, and then, a Game & Watch simple game, and then also the Lost Levels. This little handheld, is going to have the original Legend of Zelda, and then the Adventures of Link, so Zelda 2.
Yep, the weird one.
And it's going to have the Game Boy title in it as well, which I wish the original handheld for Mario had Super Mario Land in it. That would have been perfect. And so they're going to have Link's Awakening for the Game Boy on this.
It's a nice touch.
Oh, yeah. And then it's gold with a little kind of green. It's coming out in November. And much like before, the original Amazon, everybody's going to be. But the old Game & Watch for Mario, you can pick this thing up everywhere. I've seen sometimes stacks and stacks of them. They haven't really quite gone on clearance yet. Maybe they will with this new one coming out. But that was nice to see. I didn't think they were going to do that again, because the first one there's still stock of here and there. So I'm kind of happy they're doing it.
I think maybe they felt like they had to do it for 35th anniversary.
Yeah. But overall, a very good, solid presentation. I think no ARMS 2. I mean, I didn't see Splatoon. There wasn't... but, they got the Metroid out there.
Yeah, I think that's all they needed to do, really.
Yeah, Metroid, and showed a little of Zelda 2, and that was good enough.
Didn't they have like a new Mario Party, or am I wrong?
Oh, yeah, you're right. There's a new Mario Party coming out, too. Yeah,
it'll be so much unlike the other Mario Party.
That's why I said, I don't know if it's...
Well, this one's going to have, like...
I thought there was something different about it. That's the only thing.
There's legit online multiplayer.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, so I thought that was...
I've always found... I know I'm probably in the minority, but I do not like the Mario Party series.
No, it's a little... It's not very fair.
No, it's totally random who wins.
That's true.
The Mario parties for 64 I thought were very good. So Nintendo did great, and I think we should always mention limited run games. If you don't know, they do kind of limited runs of physical releases for PS4, Switch.
Yeah, a lot of games that otherwise would only be digital.
Yeah, I used to collect the first couple years of it when it first came out, and then, of course, that gets a little too difficult. The two founders kind of had their little E3 showing like they've done the last couple years and announced a whole bunch of games. Last year it was big on Star Wars and that license and that kind of thing. And I pick up now some games here and there from limited run games. They've got a couple out right now, before I mentioned the E3 releases, that I don't think I mentioned last time. Double Dragon Neon. They have a physical release only for the Switch. I love that title. That's a downloadable. I wish they would have had for PS3.
Double Dragon 4 is on there too. Switch.
Yeah. So that you can actually buy as of right now. You can totally purchase that.
The Castlevania pack.
Yeah, the Castlevania pack right now is still for sale, which is a wonderful pack. I bought that on Switch digitally before I knew that this was a physical, and it has all the old Game Boy games and all the old Nintendo
It has basically
games.
everything up to Dracula X.
Yeah, it's amazing. Bang for the buck. Yeah. So limited run games, one of the first releases they announced was a game, Adam, right up your alley. It's called Shadows of Adam. I don't know what this game is.
I actually just pre-ordered that the other day. I was like, yeah, there are 2 games now on Switch with my name in them. There's Shadows of Adam, and then there's
Adam's Legacy.
That gets the automatic pre-order.
Yeah, it's like Adventures of Adam or Adam's Legacy or something like that. Yeah.
All right, so limited run games. I think the big one that really hits home with us because we had both of these games on our book club. Zombie Ate My Neighbors.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And Ghoul Patrol.
That releases this week or next week, I think.
Yeah, very soon. This Friday. So actually, we're recording now on a Thursday, and this will drop on a Monday.
You can spend like $80 for the deluxe pack if you want.
Yeah, they've got, check this thing out. It looks great. They've got the crazy pack with all the old systems in it, or they got the irregular one with that just has Zombie Ate My Neighbors, and the second one. But that's awesome. I love that they came out with that. So I'll run through the releases really quickly. Double Dragon. There's a Double Dragon release. Koenigman. Strife. Is getting a release. River City Girls 2.
Oh, River City Girls
announced.
is a fun game.
Yeah. So the sequel is coming to PS5. So they're having PS5 releases for limited run.
That's a game that needs a PS5 processor. Yeah.
Yep. And River City Girls 0 is getting a physical edition on Switch.
Oh.
Another thing that they announced was Shantae. If you know Limited Run, they've had a lot of Shantae releases. They are now announcing that Shantae 1 through 5 is coming to the PlayStation 5. At first, I thought it meant a whole compilation of basically Shantae, Risky's Revenge, all the, Half Genie Hero, but they're actually just going to do their same releases that are on PS4 and on Switch, just on PS5 now. So, but the original Shantae has not been released for PS4 yet, so I know it's been on for Switch, but so they're releasing that. And also a new Blood Rain game. Blood Rain Betrayal, Fresh Bites, is getting a release. They announced this other game called Skatebird. Have you seen this?
I have not seen Skatebird, no.
It looks like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, but with a bird on it. And not
I'm sold.
Okay, but here's the thing. Imagine not a bird like a typical video game bird, like a pigeon. It looks like a parakeet. Like one of the little birds that you get in a toy store.
I've been working on my parakeet game inspired collection.
It looks great. So Super Hot is coming out as well. Physical on PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch. Now, the physical of Super Hot has been out, but it was in another region.
Yeah.
But this is coming out on Switch. Great game, Super Hot. You have to look at footage to understand it. But
I'm not really sure how it works on Switch, to be honest. I've only played it in VR.
So it's the same thing. You're just going to use your Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
So the concept's there, but
I
think
feel like it's going to lose a lot not being in VR.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree. A game that I didn't know a lot about, but I'm really excited. I'm definitely going to purchase. It's available right now. And I think this is great for our audience because, when you do a retro game, a side-scroller game, there's a lot of them out there, but some of them are like, chef's kiss. Hunt Down. Do you guys know about this game?
Yeah. I actually ordered this the day before yesterday. So it looks awesome.
Hunt Down is a side-scroller that is set in a kind of it's like RoboCop meets Total Recall meets Cyberpunk.
Yeah, it's like a dystopian future cyberpunk.
Yeah, this looks.
It's like basically everything I like. Yeah.
This looks great. What I like is it's almost a run and gun, but not quite. You can hide in the shadows. You can duck behind things. It looks like it has a nuance of like a modern game with the old school aesthetic, but it's not quite to the point where you're getting to Metal Slug status where you just constantly are shooting and you can't tell what's going on. And it's gotten great reviews. And now that it's physical, more people are going to hear about it. But I'm definitely going to pick up this game. It looks great. Again, if you want a game out of there's a couple in here, but out of all the releases from Limited Run, a game that looks amazing, check out Hunt Down. Also, Axiom Verge 2, the guy who made Axiom Verge 1.
I did not know that was a thing.
Yep, that is coming to the Switch, PS4, and
Thomas
PS5.
Hatt, man.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Axiom Verge is awesome.
Oh, yeah. And this one I don't know much about, but it's going to be in the same vein. Looks like a great pickup. If you like the first one, the second one, physical release, will be out. And also another game that I'm excited about is The Takeover. It is a beat 'em up that came out last year. It's actually been in development for a long time and almost been ready. It's but been digital only. It is coming to the PS4 and Switch. It is a side-scrolling beat 'em up. It plays a lot like Streets of Rage. Some people called it like Streets of Rage 5. There's a lot of good personalities behind making it. There's a guy I've never talked about on the podcast. His name's Matt McMuscles. He does the What Happened videos on YouTube, the ones that like he goes into a documentary of like what happened to this weird, obscure PS3 rail shooter genre, or like why did this thing but anyway, he's kind of popular, like, not one of those million subtype guys, but somebody that should, like, he does let's plays, got a really interesting personality. Anyway, if you look him up, YouTube, Matt McMuscles, you've probably come across him before, but he's behind the making of this game, so the fact that there is a physical release is really awesome. Republic, another game called Going Under, Step to Edom, Ruby. Oh, Retromania Wrestling, a 2D action
this
wrestling
game
game.
looks awesome.
Yeah,
This is actually getting a physical release now.
it is for
Yeah,
PS4
when
and
this came
Switch.
out, I was like, I bet it gets a physical at some point, so I didn't buy it digitally.
Yep.
This game looks awesome.
Yep. Yeah. So that's going to come out in the next year, a physical edition.
It's like WWF, like WrestleMania
Yep,
arcade
All-Stars,
kind
yep.
of thing. Yeah, it's super cool looking. It's got like a ton of wrestlers too.
Yeah. This is one I'm going to pick up for sure. Also, Castlevania Requiem. So it's basically a cult classic coming back. Castlevania Requiem is Symphony of the Night and Rondo of Blood getting a physical edition. Also, Castlevania collection's already out, so those are things that weren't in there. The Contra collection was officially announced. I actually thought
I was
that this
waiting
was,
on that. It's basically
Yeah.
all the old Konami games are coming back now.
Yeah. The Contra collection is in the same vein as the Castlevania
There will
collection.
be I predict there will be a Gradius collection at some point.
Yeah. So I was following their Twitter, and of course, the day before E3, I sent a direct message to one of the owners of Limited Run Games, like saying, like, "Hey, is there going to be any PS3 releases?" And I got crickets back. I don't think there's going to be any PS3 releases ever again for Limited Run. But something I noticed he was saying was they bought the rights to an old IP, but they said they're going to release it on that day, and they said it's one of their most requested and anticipated games of all time, infamous game. So I was like racking my brain. Like, it couldn't be a crazy IP where it cost millions of dollars to own. What is it? And then they let out the physical edition of Plumbers Don't Wear Ties is coming to the PS4, PS5, PC, and Switch.
Oh, to the Switch too. Yeah.
So Plumbers Don't Wear Ties, for those of you that don't know, is a very
I don't know.
Okay, it's a very infamous 3DO release.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was very risque for when it came out.
And it was very, so the reason it became kind of famous in the circles of collecting, I think, and we should give credit to really where it goes to is
AVGN.
Angry Video Game Nerd did a video about this back in the day, and you think it's actually a FMV game, but it's not. It's all digital stills, but it's
like playing a PowerPoint.
That's what I was gonna say. It sounds terrible.
or it's kind of a B movie, but one of the B movies that back up were on like Cinemax or something, where there's a little bit of, I don't think we need earmuffs of the letter.
I've seen some late night
There's a-
movies.
yeah.
Of the letter T and
There's a-
then
yeah,
the
there's
first
a-
letter of the alphabet.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a little bit of plot, not a lot of plot.
Yeah. And it's actually, so I watched a playthrough of this game, a full playthrough once on YouTube, and it goes places. Like the boss is like, he gets to a point where he gets real, like, he would be canceled. We'll just say that. Like he says some stuff in this game that it's quite meme-rific. But look at the old, just look at the old Angry Video Game about this and see if you want this on physical. I'm kind of I'm probably not going to get it. I'm happy it's there. I'm happy it's a thing. I'm not going to get it, but I appreciate that it's there, and I totally dig. That's something that I know the guys at Limited Run. I totally see why they did it. It's great, but gosh, there's a lot of other things.
I wonder what kind of
sells.
dirty alley they had to go down to buy the rights.
Well, honestly, I love. They've gone through. They did Night Trap, and I kind of got my fill with Night Trap and Double Switch with this kind of old 80s thing because those
Corpse
at least you
Killer.
could play, but this as a game is not good. But
it's bad. It's
but the
infamously
novelty
bad.
is there, and I'm surprised they didn't come out with like an edition that had a plunger and a necktie. I bet you they were thinking about it.
Yeah, I bet they. Yeah.
I bet you they were thinking about it. So, I mean, a ton of games from Limited Run. They're exciting. There's at least 3 or 4 that I'm hoping to definitely pick up. But yeah, that's a lot of the E3 coverage, I think, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Interesting stuff. PS4, PS5 still hard to buy. Eventually, it'll get that way.
There's no chips.
Yeah.
All the chips are gone.
Yeah, Michael, you thinking about owning a PS5?
Eventually. I mean, I'll definitely get it, but it'll probably be about a year.
I'm
probably about 6 months away.
The longer we go without, because I would have bought one for sure on launch, but the further we're going into this generation, I'm not that excited to get one anymore. I mean, I probably will at some point, but I'm not in any big hurry.
Yeah,
I typically wait about a year anyway.
Yeah.
That's just what I normally do for new systems.
Well, I mean, I got the Xbox thing. I've got a bunch of Switch stuff. I'm not really dying for stuff to play. So.
Yeah, I'm sticking to my guns. I'm gonna wait till there's a pack in because I'm not. I know there's a shortage. I don't think it's not artificial because who would want to not sell? But I already pre-ordered the Intellivision thing, right? So I'm gonna get that before PS5 for sure. But I'm gonna wait till they have a pack-in game. Oh, worth mentioning.
Yeah. Maybe when that Far Cry comes out, I'll think about getting it. There has to be some game that really drives me.
Far Cry on PS4 is gonna be great. It's coming on. It's coming on PS4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not just a PS5 exclusive, and that's going to be the same with PS3 and PS4. The PS3 version of the Far Cry games were freaking fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they had Far Cry 3 and 4 and Blood Dragon and all that on PS3 or Xbox 360 as well. So, what I was going to mention is a game that has recently come out that is the first time I feel like, I wish I had a PS5. Ratchet and Clank.
Oh yeah, it looks
Rift
awesome.
Apart. That looks amazing. Yeah, but Ratchet and Clank, whatever it is, Beyond the Rift, whatever, it looks really good, like super good. I hope that's the pack-in game that I'm going to get to play with PS5 sometime in the future when I'm not so busy. We'll see how that works.
I hadn't thought about it being a possible packing game, but I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, down the road with a special PS5 whenever that thing comes in. But anyway, E3, excited about it. And remember, folks, send those emails in to us and like and subscribe, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, do the smash the thing and the like the stuff and the followy things.
Yeah, that'll be good. All right. Well, anyway, moving on. All right. So before we start in this next segment, we had a rapping at our door. Be it a raven once more. Fellow friend of the show. Helped me out definitely with the recent swap. We had another video game swap, and local collector friends, guy named, we'll just use your first name, Sean, right?
Yeah, Sean. Thanks for having me. Long time listener, first time breaking and entering on a podcast. That was
Yeah,
a new
I know
experience.
you came in a good time. So we're like, hey, come into the handheld holla, and you obliged us. You were playing some softball, is that right?
Yeah, like all good Midwestern children, the only thing I'm any good at is slow pitch softball. And when I say I'm good at it, I mean my wife is really good at it. And it's really hard to find girls. So everybody wants my wife to play. And I'm like, only if I can come too. And then they're like, fine, yeah.
That's awesome.
Thanks, Heather.
Yeah, softball. I used to do some intramural volleyball, but you are a kind of local collector. You've come over to a couple game nights, that kind of thing. So we're like, hop on the podcast. No pressure, no nothing.
Absolutely. Glad to be here.
Tell
Thanks
us,
for having me over.
and make sure to tell us where you work, where your wife works, and your full address. I'm just kidding. No, don't.
I brought my social security card if you want to put that on the Twitter.
Yeah, put that on there. That's how you get. No. So, but anyway, we did have a little video game swap not too long ago, and I know out of the video game dads, I was the only one that had some time, but that was a lot of fun, wasn't it? Yeah,
That was the first time I made it out to a game. I know you guys said some really nice things the last time, and so I was kind of looking forward to going anyway.
Yeah.
And then I got like a desperate plea for help from Ben.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what? Yeah, why not get a table right at the entrance where people were walking in, which I think we determined was a really good thing.
Yeah, and thank you so
Nice.
much because you helped out. We got real busy. Like we were swarmed full.
It was the week that I did it. It was overwhelming.
Yeah, so it
at
was
least at the beginning.
it was
Yeah.
fun. I sold a lot of stuff, and some people came from kind of far away. But like it was, wouldn't you say the first like three solid hours?
Can we say the first pre-hour before it started?
Oh, yeah,
and
you're
then do
right.
about 2 hours in because you always got the other people with tables there coming by.
Yeah,
And, no, it was really good. I didn't have a lot of inventory, but most of it was gone.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it was great
Nice.
for me. And I know you made out very well that day and bought some cool stuff as well.
Yeah, I bought some stuff. I forget. Yeah, maybe it's for the best. I kind of forgot all the stuff I got, like a Game Boy Micro accessory set. I didn't buy very much. The point was to offload things. I'm excited to do that. But you sold some cool stuff. Like, give me your top three. What'd you sell? Do you remember?
I sold a PSP with some games because I upgraded recently to a silver PSP.
Yeah.
A couple of Game Boy Advance games that just kind of I needed a little cash. I want to buy a digital piano. I'm getting way TMI here. I want to buy a digital piano, and I didn't know how expensive those
all right.
were.
Yeah.
So trying to stash up a little cash.
Nice. So if you see him at a lounge, a dinner lounge near you, digital piano on a side gig. Nice. Okay.
Little chip
all right.
tunes at a like a whiskey lounge, or what do you call those? Where
Sure.
whiskey and cigar lounge.
No,
Some
I-
8-bit and 16-bit chip tunes. Just what everybody wants to hear.
I want to, leave
Nice.
it magical. Well, I think, you having a digital piano, is it come with a stand? I want to know more about this.
Yeah, digital piano. So it's
Is it a
just
Casio? Are you selling it on QVC?
I'm
or
going
is
to go
it
with a Korg. So you know the
Oh,
Korg
no.
Gadget
Okay.
games.
I didn't know you were going hardcore.
Core Gadget's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I got the
actually have
Korg Gadget on the
yeah.
Switch, and I was like, I should get this, but in like human size.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where I'm going to go. I just didn't realize how expensive they were when I first told my wife, and so then I'd already like committed to it in my head. So
No, you got to go for it. And I always think, if you're going to get a digital piano, make sure it's something named after a Star Trek villain.
I think that's the bare minimum for digital pianos. Absolutely.
Like, this is his name, Korg.
I've been assimilated into the Korg.
Yeah, I
Make
know.
sure that you know the brand from like a cheapened video game version of this tremendous musical hardware company.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. So anyway, that was a lot of fun. But if there's another swap, we'll let you know. If there's another Mo Game Con, something like that. But again, since you're here for this last segment, thanks for jumping in. You picked a great time to kind of hop in and spontaneously be able to be on one of our most favorite segments, and you can join in if you're a long time
I'm stoked.
listener. Okay. I think it's that time for our
Handheld
Oh, and now you'll know that I put that in post. I don't actually have an air horn. I do have to throw that in. So our handheld holla, real quick, is a little segment where we give a little love to those handheld games that we all hold near and dear in our sweaty palms that keeps us moist. You missed that joke. You're gonna have to hear all about
Yeah,
that.
the humidity's been pretty high
said
tonight.
moist, I'm in.
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
You can get it already from that.
yeah. So
I'm just embarrassed. I didn't realize how long you guys drug it out when I'm here. It's like I don't want to over drag my handheld holla, but you guys really pulled like the Rock over there. I should have hung it
Yeah,
longer.
we try to draw it out a little bit. Yeah.
you kind of you got to go into it. It's like you can't go big or go home. That's what we do here at Video Game Day. And
I
most of
always
the
wonder
going
what my
home.
neighbors think whenever we do the handheld holla.
Oh yeah, those hooligans again. They're at it.
They must be
true.
talking about video games.
There
Yeah.
is normally one of us that goes too long. That one was actually well timed.
Yeah,
We
that
hit
one
it all at
actually.
once.
Yeah,
There's-
we held that one together. We're making progress.
Well, as you can see, Sean, we toot our own horn very often here.
It's really
The
about
humble-
presentation first and foremost. Games
Yeah,
are second.
The humble podcast, guys. Okay,
I
so
am famously humble.
So the handheld holla is a segment where we all pick a handheld game, talk about it, can be in the top 15%. This is just any handheld is fair game, from the Tiger to the WhatsApp to the this to the that. I always list random stuff. You know what a handheld is, but anything's fair game. We talk a little bit about it, and the nice thing about handhelds is they're cheap. They're cheap to pick up. You can create a wonderful collection of handheld games. I'm going to talk about handhelds for the rest of my life. I love them. But yeah, it's a way that you can pick up some bargain bin games. Handheld holla, handheld games. Here's our segment. Let's go around the block. Sean, I'm going to let you pick last. Not going to put you on the spot. I changed my mind. Go. What's your handheld holiday game? Yeah, I put you right on there. Go.
I didn't realize Tiger was in play. I'm going to say Ivan Ironman Stewart's Super Off-Road Tiger handheld. No, that's my second favorite game. My first favorite game at the moment is Monster Hunter Stories on the 3DS.
Oh,
and
okay.
with E3, I think they just announced Monster Hunter Stories 2 coming out. And I'm honestly not all that far into it, but it's kind of like it's Pokemon meets Monster Hunter is about what it amounts to. So essentially Monster Hunter, but at Sean's level.
All right.
Big fan, not horribly expensive.
Yeah.
And Pokemon, but slightly more adult. Nah, that's not fair to say. Pokemon, but
No,
Monster
I think
Hunter.
you could say that. No, maybe it's good. So Sean, we always like, what would you say? Not to get super off topic. What are kind of your go-to genres of video games? What do you like?
So anything JRPG, but of the swords and sorcery subject matter is my go-to. So Dragon Warrior, Dragon Quest, that's my favorite. And then those kind of like hack and slash, looty, Diablo, Champions of Norath, Baldur's Gate, Dark Alliance.
Whoa! All right.
Anything where I can grind to compensate for having a lack of talent. That's really big for me.
Nice. Well, that honestly, we
Good self-awareness.
our demographics and our listeners usually say we're lacking in a lot of our knowledge of those type of games. So it's good to have an extra arm in that. And then
Yeah, I'm happy to be here to disappoint them.
Yeah, or no, there's still life. No, there's a lot of people who play games that we aren't all into. JRPGs are something that I think they're so well appreciated. I mean, Radical Reggie loves those things. And
I
when
like
I
them.
talk to him
I
about
just
them,
never seem to have any time to play them.
Time is so big for those things.
yeah, and you can't. Oh, and shout out to him. He threw me in one of his videos, like me because of my PS3 collection, my craziness. He talked about that, and maybe should I say this? He may have promised. There's a chance maybe I'll finally put a video of that whole complete PlayStation 3 video collection on there. I recorded it a couple years ago and I've been scared to do it. And he's like, dude, I'll edit it and throw it on there. Like, you need to put that on the internet. So maybe that'll come soon. We'll see. I'll edit that out. Maybe that's a secret. Maybe I don't want to let that out. No, I'll leave it in. That way he has to keep his promise. He'll do it. But anyway, I randomly thought about that. Back to you, Sean. So you picked Monster Hunter and you said not that expensive. So roughly...
I want to say $15 loose for Monster Hunter Stories, maybe $20 at this point.
That's not much.
There's a lot of older Monster Hunter I never touched. I just never went back before Ultimate, so I'm also kind of digging into those previous ones, which are way harder somehow, as I'm starting to touch into the PSP one. I don't remember which one that is, and 2 on the PlayStation 2. Way harder. Somehow got easier when they got to 4 on the 3DS.
Well, I think, Sean, it comes with your experience in hunting. You get better at it, right? That's how hunting works. All right.
And again, grind, loot, and compensate. That's my motto. Now, at least.
Yeah,
I'm
constantly trying to compensate all day. All right, Michael, what is your handheld holo pick?
Mine is on the Game Gear, and that is Tempo Junior.
Nice.
And kind of a nice platformer from Sega. It's kind of a lot of the kind of Sonic elements to it. Like when you stand on like an edge, you kind of freaks out, and that's kind of those little cutesy type deals that they.
It's all music-y.
Yeah, the music's a little bit.
cool game.
That is honestly can you use the word franchise? I mean, it was saying it was like, we're going to put this on the 32X and the Game Gear, but like they should go back to that game at some point because it's a cool game. Yeah, it's a cool game.
It's kind of a shooter a little bit too, versus just like a typical platform where you just jump on them or whatever.
Yeah, and ever since he dated Rice Star's ex-girlfriend, he's been in the doghouse.
I mean, it does look like.
I think there's a lot of things.
It's the same family of games, kind of.
Tempo Junior's cool. Random story. First Portland Retro Gaming Expo. I picked it up, and it was one of those. I didn't buy it. I think it was like $22. I should have picked that dang thing up. Now I haven't seen it since. When are you going to see Tempo Junior and Game Gear at like a random place? But
I actually got it at A Games like 4 or 5 years ago.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk later.
A Game. Yeah.
We'll talk later. You don't like this game, even though you put it on.
I mean, it's just funny because there's an 8-bit
kidding.
tempo game, and then there's a 32-bit tempo game.
Is that Sega first party?
Yeah.
It is, and it's never
Sega
like
made
appeared on any of their mini collections and things.
I don't
Yeah,
think so.
no, it's just like a thing that was like a game, and they're cool games, but they never were on anything else.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't either.
All right, cool. And how much did you say it was?
It's expensive now. I think it's like $70 or $80.
Shoot me in the face! Dang it!
Yeah, which is it's expensive because it never was on anything else.
Yeah.
That's the only way you can buy it. Yeah.
Good pick.
And
All
there
right.
aren't a ton of great games on Game Gear.
What? Get out of my house.
Careful,
Get out of this.
them's,
Sorry,
them,
man.
them's fighting words.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn this car around.
Is it my turn?
It is your turn. Go for it.
So I'm going to go with an expensive game that you're never going to be able to find.
Great.
But it's still cool. You can get it digitally. And that's Darius Burst Chronicle Saviors, or CS, whatever you want to call it, for the Vita.
Okay.
Darius Burst Chronicle Saviors for the Vita.
Yeah, Vita.
All right. That's not compensating for anything.
Yeah, so, well, maybe. But it so it's a Darius game. So if
Nice.
you like spaceships in space, fighting metallic fish with Japanese opera music,
All right.
I
sold.
don't even know what
Yeah.
that is. What's Japanese opera music?
I don't know. It's what's in Darius. I didn't make it, but it
You know,
somehow
Japanese
fits.
like opera for the most
Yeah,
part.
it's
Yeah,
weird
yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
like techno, but it's like opera,
Okay.
and it's
That
Japanese.
sounds about right. Yeah.
So the blue girl from Fifth Element.
Yeah, exactly. Blue Girl from Fifth Element.
Okay.
Exactly.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, God, man, we were a sack of nerds. But anyway, everybody got like blue Girl from Fifth Element, and we all know what that is.
Oh, we all had a we all wanted to know how that was possible.
And but no, it's so like if you never played a Darius game, you start on a level, but then there's branching pathways, and they fan out. So every level you pick one of two of the next levels.
Oh, nice.
And so there's a whole bunch of different pathways you can do to get to the end of the game. And then there's-
Outrun Star Fox.
Yeah. But there's bosses at the end of every level. There's a crap ton of variety in the game. You can play score attacks. You can do free play. There's all these different game modes. There's all this different stuff you can do. There's maybe 30 different levels in total. It's like a shooter, and this is also on PS4 and a bunch of other stuff too. But regardless, it is a shooter and it's horizontal scrolling. It's a little bit bullet hell. You can make like double screen wide. It just
Nice.
If you want a shooter that you can get a ton of mileage out of, this is one.
Very cool. What do you got, Ben?
So, my game, I'm going with the original Game Boy. Hey, we all picked different systems, didn't we?
Yay!
Yeah, that's cool. So the original Game Boy, I'm gonna pick Cool Spot for the
Okay.
Game Boy.
Good
So
draw.
let me tell
7
you.
Up, huh?
Yeah. Make 7 Up yours.
Back from exactly.
7 Up, yeah. That was funny.
Back when product placement was
Right.
was king. Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure there's 3 spot games for the original Game Boy. What's funny is when I bought this thing back in the day, it was the first Game Boy game, and I remember seeing it on the shelf, and you had the spot guy on there, and I remember with my mom, I was like, oh, get it, and I didn't turn it over. I thought this was a 2D side-scrolling game, because back in the day, when I saw pictures of like a Cool Spot game, like Genesis or whatever, it was a 2D side-scroller. Well, it turns out when I got this home, and just like you did back in the day, you get a game and it's not what you think it is. You play that game. And it's actually a puzzle game.
It's like Othello, isn't it?
It's like Othello type
Yeah,
of game. And there's not much to do with Cool Spot or 7-Up except for the title screen at all. But it's got I like it. It's got cool music. And I ended up getting really good at the game. And it's a puzzle game. It's a very simple puzzle game. It's a cheap game. You can get it for like $3 to $4. It's pretty common, but you're basically trying to advance wars it up like Othello in a real like elementary way. I just have nostalgia with it. It's kind of like checkers, except you're kind of like trying to create more colors. Yeah, Othello, basically, right? But a lot of fun, and my little 6-year-old self got this game, and what do? You continue to play it. You can't just download something else or you get a different game. So I remember at Toys R Us, it was a mistake at the time, but now looking back on it, I have more miles on that puzzle game than maybe even Tetris. So wanted to throw that out there. So we've got Cool Spot for the Game Boy. We've got
Darius Burst Chronicles CS.
Oh my gosh.
Chronicles Saviors CS.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
all those words. And also Monster Hunter
Stories
for
for
the 3DS and
And Tempo Junior.
Tempo Junior for the
Game
Game Gear.
Gear,
I love
yeah.
that pick, Michael. That's so like that's not your typical pick. I really like that. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. You did really good on that.
You did great, Michael.
You did so good.
You were so proud of you.
You win the handheld holla.
All right, what did I win?
Nothing.
I know.
Oh,
I don't want to untrack us here, but we talked about 7-Up marketing. They had some tremendous commercials. Do you guys remember there's one where they're doing a photo shoot for a calendar, but it's with like male truck drivers for a 7-Up commercial?
No, but
It sounds like somebody that should be a sponsor.
It's well they are. I don't know if you guys know this. I got the guys out here with a contract. They're waiting on us as long as we talk that commercial up.
Oh, I didn't
Absolutely.
say that. Yeah. Well, Michael's been a little thirsty earlier.
it's true.
Yeah, so that's awesome. Handheld Holo Picks, those are all freaking great. Thank you so much. How did it feel? First segment on there, huh?
I feel like my holler needs to be louder and longer, and then the game name's already mostly forgotten.
Now we already talked about this. Remember, you always got to say 2 positive things before you say a negative
Oh,
thing. This
no,
is
you're
what the
right. That's a
dads
great
do.
thing.
You did a great job. And you already did great on your T-ball game, whatever that was, right?
Thanks, man. It was my first T-ball game. It was
All
fun.
right. Yeah, that was great. So anyway, those are our handheld Holo Picks. What do you guys say? It's getting a little long in the tooth. Should we call it?
Yeah, it's about time to
All right.
about time to put this down.
So let me tell you guys, let's be honest here. 2020, 2021, we're happy to be above ground mentally, physically. Hope you all are doing well. Thank you for listening. Our humble little podcast with our lovely, loyal listeners. We really appreciate you a lot. We thank you for listening. You could be listening to a lot of different podcasts, but we thank that you listen to us every once in a while. Please give us a review on iTunes. That helps us be seen. That's your way of giving back. We don't have a Patreon because we don't want to disappoint you for money. And
We're happy to disappoint you for free.
Yeah.
Got no problem.
yeah. And of course, thank you to our sponsor, Liberty Mutual,
Yeah, or whatever.
whatever it was. Oh, no. What did I say?
Wilford Brimley.
Wilford,
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it wasn't. We do forget because sometimes
Quaker-
the
Quaker
star
Oats.
is
It's
bigger
Liberty
than the
Medical
show.
Supply.
No, I know. It's Quaker Oats, basically.
Quaker Oats, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So basically, the star overtakes it. Like, what's the Mission Impossible movies? They're just Tom Cruise running. That's
We
what they
just
should
we
be
just
called.
wanted Wilford Brimley as a sponsor.
Yeah,
But
it's-
we didn't really care which product
yeah,
he was hawking.
we're
Ben told me
Speaking
he
of-
was going to be here. I'm actually pretty disappointed.
I have to,
I know.
and I need to take a pause real quick too. Just to anybody that has an EverDrive for NES, there is a Wilford Brimley beat 'em up where it's a sprite swap on River City Ransom.
Yeah,
Nice.
You owe it to yourself.
I know.
Diabetes.
I showed it to you last time when we were thinking about doing it.
You owe it. I mean, if you don't play it, at least YouTube it. You'll
Yeah.
you'll make yourself happy.
But look up Wilford Brimley NES. That'll be enough to help you find what we're looking for. But anyway, as I was saying, we really thank you for listening a lot. Thank you for the reviews. Please send us emails. And especially, again, I'm going to be interviewing Tommy Tallarico and talking about this in television, Amico. So send us a question. If your question gets picked as the most favorite question by Mr. Tommy Tallarico, you get a hat sent to you free of charge that says Video Game Dads on it. So if you want it, or you want to be one of those people that put your hat in the back window for some reason, Americans do this. I don't know why. I don't know why it's a thing.
And Michael's going to throw in a back rub too.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Personal back rub. Yep.
Wait, is he giving or receiving?
Giving.
I'm giving.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. That's Michael for you, right?
No oil though. Dry.
Oh, shoot. All right. That's like the free shipping, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
Yeah, a nice chafy back rub.
Yeah, you don't want that. Yeah, you don't want to do that.
It'll be a moist one. Don't worry.
Yeah. It's by Manscaped. Ah, yeah, that was the 20th time.
Yeah.
Right? It's like ding, ding, ding. All right. Well,
all
anyway,
right.
gosh, we were just thanking our listeners and we got off track on that
Yeah,
other
every
thing.
time
But anyway.
somebody says moist, an angel loses its wings.
That's right.
Yeah. Thank you for listening. Thank you to our families for letting us goofballs get together, and of course, thank you, Sean, for throwing in this little segment, us throwing you into this, and being a good champ, and of course, helping us out with that game swap. Hopefully, there'll be more of those all to come.
Yeah.
More normalcy for everybody. Let us know how you're doing. Give us some ideas for more segments, and of course, those questions we talked about. Email us at videogamedads@yahoo.com. What do you guys say? I think episode 60
60. Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the books.
in the books. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.